Hello, we are here. We're live on the internet. We're back. Hello. It's been forever, you guys. Feels like it's been ages. 2 weeks is like a really long time. Yeah. Um, I know. We missed Kevin. Kevin back from vacation, Kurt on vacation. So that's just the way of things. It is summer. But I think next week the gang will be all here. So I'm looking forward to that. But Kevin enjoyed his vacation. He discovered caves. Now he's a man who loves caves. Yeah. Um, oh my God. It'd be very cave based. I love the idea that the role play game that's not D&D, you would make a cave based character. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to say half, but certainly 20% of my D&D encounters are related to caves, at least cave adjacent, outside a cave, underneath a cave, in a cave, a dungeon near caves. Caves, always caves. Yep. Uh, oh, I heard. Fantastic. There are all these like words firing in my head that I don't want to say because you're in the middle of the adventure and I don't want to like spoil anything. But I'm like, I know exactly what that is. Prehensile stalactite hair. Yeah, cave hair. I got it. I know that's all I need. Um, yeah, I'm a big fan of the dark mantle, which is indistinguishable from a stalactite until it falls off the ceiling and drops on your heads. So, not last week, but last time we played Dragonfly, I definitely threw a bunch of dark mantles at the player characters. I think, Taylor, you got wrapped. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep, yep. I love a good cave monster, man. Chokers, dark mantles, all kinds of good stuff. Cool. So caves, vacation. What else is going on with everybody? What have folks been up to? Were the 4th of July's? Nice. Oh my God. Oh noes. That's terrible. That's the worst possible outcome. Okay, give me 1 second. Oh, I know why this is. Sorry about that. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Okay, I can't believe that the chat missed that whole delightful conversation. Can they hear you now?
Can
Can
you hear
they?
us?
It's gonna be a delay before the
Yeah.
chat answers
That's
that
true.
question.
I
Mm-hmm.
know. You all should keep talking without me, though.
Yes, Adirondacks. That's what I did
Yeah,
for 4th of
now
July.
we're good. The chat says.
Nice. Sweet.
Sorry about that, guys. Like moving people in and out of the calls when we had our friend Pia in the chat, who's in the chat right now. Uh,
So it's
when
Pia's fault.
Yeah, I'll blame Pia. It's definitely not Pia's fault. It's entirely my fault. But I had adjusted all our audio settings for Pia and not repaired them. So my mistake. Sorry about that, you guys. The Adirondacks are a beautiful mountain range, Kevin. They're delightful. Yeah.
Well, one day
Wait,
maybe I'll
Kevin,
get
you
into
didn't know what the
mountains.
Adirondacks were?
I feel like I kind of did. I've heard of them, but like if you ask me for sure like what exactly they are, I might have been like mountains as opposed to just like, "Oh yeah, mountains."
I feel like that's like a
boy.
consummate
I'm
New
really bad
Yorker
at
thing.
geography and just, geology, that sort of stuff. Not my thing. Hence my fascination with caves, because
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like the consummate New Yorker thing. Like, how long did you live in New York, Kevin?
too long to admit at this point now if it's the consummate New York thing. To be fair, I lived in Pelham Bay Park, like that stop on the 6th
Yep.
train, the end of the 6th train,
Whoa.
for like
Yep.
3 years before I knew there was a park literally right there. Because I would get off the train and then just walk, right? And it was like right behind me. So I never turned around to like look behind me to see the biggest park in New York, basically. Like right there. But once I discovered it was very exciting. It was very fun.
I just love the notion that you lived in New York for that long and are like, wait, the Adirondacks?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's been like raining for like 10 days straight for me up here, which like I'm kind of now like getting into that zone. Like, okay, it's the Pacific Northwest here now. That's okay. I
Yeah.
like it. But there's like this real like heavy, dreary kind of ambiance permeating my life these days that like, yeah. So anyway.
Full of vampires, from what I understand, most recently, upon doing my most recent podcast. Anything that is dreary and rainy, that's where the vampires stay, because it's safer for them so they don't sparkle too bright, right? That's how that works.
Oh, amazing. I am not like caught up on your recent Sparkly Vampire podcast, though I cannot wait to indulge in that journey. But yeah, apparently you gotta live there so you don't sparkle too hard. It's true. I run a great vampire game, Vampire the Masquerade, the White Wolf system set in Vancouver, that your co-host, the great Melissa Woodward, is like constantly fascinated that I run a role-playing game set in Vancouver. Because to me, like, Vancouver is like a magical, imaginary place filled with vampires.
That's the Vancouver we all know and love.
Yeah, yeah. It's the one I know. It's one of these like right? It's one of these real world cities that I know like an extraordinary amount about because I've researched it for role playing games. Never been there, like no clue really, but I think I know more than I do. So
The best way to learn about stuff, either write about it or run a role playing game about it. So I guess what I need to do is either write about or run a session about the Adirondacks, and then when we come back, I will just know everything there is to know about them.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
exactly it.
Aglorondacks.
Nailed it. Too good. You're too good, Zed. Cool. So yeah, tonight we're not playing in Aglarond, nor the Adirondacks, but rather in a city of mist. As we're like coming back for our little like interlude here with Kings of Neon before we fire up season 2 officially. So yeah, it's been a couple of weeks. We had a session without Kevin, wherein an old man who may or may not be Gandalf had his brain burned out.
Oh my god, guys!
I didn't kill him, okay?
Yeah, we're watching.
And
over
now
it.
I'm best friends with him, and he's
Wait,
gonna.
I'm sorry, Kevin.
my
You're
heart.
telling me you didn't go watch the video?
Yeah, that's just shocking for me, right? The notorious
Yeah.
person never listened to a podcast on the podcast network that they contribute to on the regular did not watch the stream.
For anybody who doesn't know about Kevin's reputation, yeah, notoriously the man does not listen to podcasts or content, especially when it's 3 hours long. No chance, no dice. Not gonna happen.
Very difficult to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do shorter podcasts. He said that a most recent 2-hour podcast about Twilight.
About Twilight.
Just the first one.
God help us.
Oh, Twilight.
Brilliant.
Team not Twilight. I've watched those movies way more than I want to admit. I'm not trying to misrepresent.
I feel like everybody has.
Yeah.
It's
Zero
fantastic
minutes of a Twilight movie have I ever seen.
Really?
You're like
Is that
light bulbs.
surprising?
That's
What
impressive.
about me
A
says
little?
I've watched Twilight? Nothing
No.
about me says I've watched Twilight.
I just aspire to those kind of goals that I couldn't hold back. I just couldn't resist.
I
the
like
impulse.
it happened when I was in high school, so very much the Team Edward and Team Jacob thing was very heavy. But I was like, all the cool kids are watching it, so I'm not gonna watch it. And then I
love
waited
the
until
notion that the
after.
cool kids where you were into Twilight.
Absolutely. All the popular people super into Twilight. But yeah, I like came in after the fact. And then I read the books because the books are better.
Ah!
100%. They're not
They're
not amazing.
for a different day.
they're not amazing, but they're better than the movies.
The
I feel
books,
like there's
the books don't have Michael Sheen, so it loses automatically.
Exactly. The books don't have Michael Sheen. They don't got Lee Pace. They don't got Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson hating every minute of what they're doing. Which
wait.
is what's
How do
so...
I not remember that Lee Pace is in those movies? Who does he play? Like one of
he
the
plays-
random European vampires?
Yes, only in the last two, not in
Okay.
the first couple.
Okay, this checks out. If he's like a random European vampire, I
Yep.
feel like
Him
you
and
could have
Rami
had Sean
Malek, who's a
Connery.
random Egyptian vampire,
Yep.
and also
Oh,
the
yeah.
Avatar.
Yes, I remember Rami Malek being in that because I was fascinated with him from the Pacific or whatever. Yeah, okay, good, noted. Yeah, I don't know. I was like really into all the Anne Rice stuff, and then like the White Wolf Vampire role playing games came out in the '90s, and my friends got like really into them, and we played them a lot. Vampire is like my least favorite, but all that it's Stephanie Meyer, is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
She's the author. Like all that Stephanie Meyer stuff is so inspired by like all of the White Wolf Vampire, whether she even consciously acknowledges it or not. Like that whole kind of thing that was happening in the 90s where they were like writing a ton of like fiction about vampires, and like there was all this fiction built into the actual like game books themselves that was like probably the best part of the game. Like the rule system isn't very good, but the thematic stuff around it is really, really cool. And it was fascinating to me to see it like get as popular as it did in the early 2000s. But that's a tangent for a different podcast,
Yeah.
I suppose. Kevin, you got a couple of guests if you need people along the way, clearly.
Yeah.
But yeah, to the matter at hand today, where we play the game City of Mist, where there may or may not be vampires
Gosh.
that do not sparkle. I'll promise you that much. Yeah, we're going to get back to it. So it's been a minute since we've been together, and we do have like a couple of things we need to go over. Like I believe your crew theme, the Book Buddies, has evolved. And we were going to put an improvement on there. So I don't know if that's a thing we want to talk about now, or if we just want to once again put a pin in it for next week and say like, let's wait till we get Kurt back and like think about it in the interim, or if we should like dig into that for a second before we get going. What do you guys think?
I do feel like we keep kicking that can down the
I
road.
know.
sure
This will probably
do.
be like
Kinda
the
wanna
third
wait,
session
but-
we're playing where we should have fixed it and we didn't do it.
It's correct.
Oh, yes. Well,
I mean, I don't even know why we're evolving it, so...
we've been through a lot.
We're just evolving it because you had been through a lot. This was from like I believe even before you left, Kevin, and we have just been like pushing it off, right? So yeah, we're like evolving it because we pulled on your weakness tag of like no clear leader enough times to evolve it, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm like looking at like crew theme development, gaining new themes for the crew. I don't know that we need a new theme. We're just looking to advance it, right? So it's the same basic kind of advancement as like any of the other advancements, right? You could give your size an extra power tag. We could give it an extra weakness tag. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts off the top of your head. Clearly not. I think you don't, but I'm putting you on the spot.
I'm reading some of the questions.
Yeah, I would almost say
Um,
let's go for a new power tag.
Right.
That's what I was leaning towards too. Yeah.
I have to say, what have we learned to do well together? Raking and
Argue.
entering.
Breaking entering is a good one.
Feel like
Making a
We've done a
scene.
lot of that.
we've done so much of that.
You actually have. Yep.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Guiding. Vacuum resisting.
This is where we all like are poring over the books,
I know.
looking at the crew theme.
Very
stuff.
interesting for the
Really
people
good
watching us. Just
entertainment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in this visual medium, there's nothing better than watching someone read.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, for anybody at home who's checked it out, it's on page 180 of the actual City of Mist book, the crew theme book, right? It's just like all the other theme books for the characters. It kind of gives you an example of questions. And by orienting yourself to like answer these questions, you're coming up with kind of specific situations where the power tag is going to come into play and can be applied, right? I love like that kind of part of this process, right? The questions kind of prompt us to think about how will you use this, you know?
I will say, like, what sources of information do we have? We kind of have like, I mean, we have Charlie, right?
True. I mean, you
Good
have
for
like you
Charlie.
have
We have
a couple
Perez,
of
too.
contacts. Yeah.
Yeah, we have like Perez.
You do. You have Charlie, you have Perez, you have the Erastus siblings for like whatever they're worse. Like you have contacts kind of
Is it
in
almost
a
like a series of acquaintances? Because I don't think we're friends with any of them, but
Well, I
But
guess
we're
yeah.
unforgettable to them.
You definitely are. And it is a series of acquaintances. I mean, I love that already as like the name of a power tag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
Who is guiding, backing, or assisting your operation? A series of
a
acquaintances.
series of acquaintances.
there it is.
I mean, I love it.
I like it.
You
Yeah.
guys like that?
I like that. Like, that makes so much sense for us.
I mean, I kind of think it does. It like leans into like it's another one of these resources. You guys are going to have to think about how you use it, right? But it's question D, who's guiding, backing, or assisting your operation. Assisting, I think, being the optimal one here. And yeah, you have a series of acquaintances, right? And they're like all over the kind of social strata, right? You have like these high end, kind of very wealthy socialites, business people, police force. You know, you have a little bit of like the undercity urchin and like Charlie, right? But you guys have met a couple of folks. Gosh, it's cold and cats are like just piling up on my lap now, and I'm running out of space.
I've got one right here too, and she's
Excellent.
very mad that I'm stopping petting her.
Aw.
Yeah, yeah, they get highly indignant. They're very demanding, these cats. Okay, cool, cool. I think that that's like a good advancement for you guys. That makes sense. Awesome.
A series of acquaintances.
Gonna add it too.
I love it.
And that was through attentions, right? So I can clear that
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we should clear all the attentions off of our
We
crew
do
theme
have
book.
one crack, right?
Do.
That's true.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a strange statement to make, by the way.
Yeah, yes. Just one.
We have one crack.
Singular crack.
Any negative statuses you guys are hanging on to from previous games or like clues, stuff like that should probably be like cleaned and purged too. I think we're like at a kind of a fresh start.
Cool.
And so, yeah, I don't know if there's any specific things any of you guys had with characters. Remind me if you all had advancements we have to deal with. Does anybody have anything that we need to like dig into or address?
I have one of my myth themes has a burnt power tag on it, and that's my main thing. But that can be figured out at some point of how I will get rid of that.
Yeah, and I'm currently looking at. I have 2 of my cards have 2 attention on them, so I
Me
think
too.
something will be coming soon for me, but nothing at the moment.
Yep. I think a bunch of you guys have 2 attention, like sitting on a bunch of themes, right? So I direct you all to just like pay attention to that. Think about like what kind of advancement you might want to pick if that happens tonight. To that same point, you know, making a hard choice, right? Be thinking about that stuff. I think like I'll hit you guys up during the week here. But before we pick up next time when we have the full gang back together, we should just talk about our identities and our mysteries and see if there's any of those we want to like rewrite, retool, revisit before we really like dig back into it, right? Now that we all have like this experience of playing together for a couple of months and seeing like how we evolve, how we change, all this kind of stuff. It's I think we're just better equipped to write those things, you know, and like engage with them. But yeah, cool. All right, great. So we're in pretty good shape then, huh?
For now.
So for now.
For
Some disaster
now.
strikes.
For now.
Can't wait for you all, or for Nick to meet Gerard.
Who is Gerard?
Yeah.
Who is Gerard?
Who
Nick?
is Gerard?
So I think when last we saw the crew together, you all were at the hospital where Nick was reunited with his family after his father had taken a bit of a tumble and hurt himself. And Nick had to take himself out of the action for the kind of final act of your story with old Lyndon, Mahisha Sura, Nick's opponent, most specifically, or Durga's more accurately, perhaps. But ultimately, all of you, without Nick Shifdar, you traveled to the warehouse where you were keeping Lyndon to turn him loose to Anastasia Erastus, his on-again, off-again lover. And upon arriving there, somebody appeared above you, climbing in the kind of scaffolds of this burned-out warehouse, and they dropped a beam of light down specifically upon Lyra, wherein a fight broke out, and Gerard Whitaker emerged the loser of said altercation as Lyra kind of burned out his mind with her mind fire, and this old senile man who was left with little to no understanding of why he was even there to begin with was returned to the retirement home from whence he came, where now Lyra makes bi-weekly visits.
No, way more frequent than that.
I'm sorry.
So often.
So it's daily? It's bi-daily? You bring them lunch and dinner?
It's almost daily, like at least once a day. Like, and if she doesn't make it, like she tells him why and like calls.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that this crew is stealing phones from homeless people, burning out old man's braids.
He attacked me.
I did not steal the phone. I negotiated for the phone. I do not appreciate this narrative that is editorializing on an agreement that was made between two willing parties.
It's true. It's very true. I concur, Zed. I was, as one of the willing parties, he very openly relinquished his phone. It is very funny. The ultimate resolution was that Lyndon went back to whatever life he had before he was awakened. Anastasia stayed in touch with you. Gerard Whitaker was returned to the retirement home that he wandered out of, with Lyra now maintaining her relationship with the old fellow, while Iggy has been visiting Lyndon. In the weeks afterwards, a few of you ended up involved in an altercation after you made what amounts to a new friend, a fellow named Sebastian, the pianist, as it were, at a jazz club down in the docks called the Rising Moon Jazz Club. And while you were kind of investigating a mysterious death that had occurred, a man had kind of drowned in his car down in the bay, you discovered that it was involved with a sort of shady real estate deal going on at said jazz club. And in the midst of your investigation, you ended up befriending somebody like you, a fellow named Sebastian, a piano man, who carried with him a strange lamp that seemed to have mysterious powers to it. And a lot of you ended up... Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
The lot of you ended up discovering that at the source of this was an individual who was manipulating people's minds, like some type of dark muse. They had convinced this poor dead, drowned man to sign over his rights to the ownership of the jazz club before sending them to go kill themselves. And so you did break into their apartment as well. um, using wings and insubstantiality, along with much more conventional means of the elevator. But a lot of you ended up with an altercation with these individuals that, like, fundamentally resolved itself in Sebastian getting his hands on the necessary documentation to make sure that Ralph, I believe, his friend and the owner of the nightclub, was able to retain his control over that establishment. And so, yeah, I think that it's been a few weeks since that wild adventure with the group of you. And as we pick back up tonight, it's been some time since you've all been able to see each other. And Iggy had replied in the group text that he won't be able to make it. But I think the group of you are going to get together tonight after having not seen each other for a few weeks here. So where are you meeting? Is it at the library?
Feels like that's the spot.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, it needs to be.
Probably.
We didn't really eat much at the diner last time.
Yeah,
so.
no.
I don't need
6
to pay
cups of
for another
coffee.
crappy soup.
Yeah, it was a
Pancakes.
crappy soup, too.
Diner soup always is.
So I think that the camera opens up on the Parabellum Athenaeum, the public library, right in the old quarter, just outside the kind of downtown section of this neon city. And as we take in the wide, sprawling steps, the kind of marble columns up at the front of the overhang in front of this establishment, we see the like cascading lights, the shadows of the city kind of washing over it, the multi-hued kind of tones of neon that are sort of basking it, the moisture of like a soft rain kind of falling around everywhere, and the camera kind of zooming down it over the stairs. We like slip through the door into the stacks of the building itself, these vast, old, ornate tables and chairs spread out around the ground floor, the dim illumination of the evening in this old, vast building filled with stories. And at the regular table where they gathered before they had awoken to this new, strange reality that they're a part of and become embroiled in these many mysteries of the Neon City, we see at least 4 or 5 of the book buddies sitting around their familiar table.
I feel like if we cut in, Nick is there, and it's just like, okay, so let me get this straight. In the time that I've been gone, you may or may not have mentally damaged Gandalf the Grey, or White, I guess, depending on timeline, and you may or may not have encountered either Aladdin or his genie. Is that just a quick summation there of what I missed?
Okay, first of all, he was already clearly damaged mentally. He had been having all sorts of episodes before I burned his brain. So, totally not my fault. And I think that I'm doing well by going and seeing him every day, even though it makes me feel like absolute garbage because all he does is talk to me about his dead daughter, and I feel like he's putting me in her position, and he also has a side of him that wants to probably kill me and destroy everything that I stand for, and it's not my fault. But you're close.
Asher is just like texting on their phone, and all they say is, "It's definitely the genie."
We don't know for sure if it's the genie. It could be the Aladdin guy.
It's definitely the genie.
Anybody made any wishes, I guess, if it was? I'm not too sure how this works.
Fake,
I'm
fake
still not
contracts.
Sure. Oh,
We asked for paperwork.
exciting.
Yeah.
If you had 3 wishes, you would use one for paperwork, wouldn't you, Kevin?
Right.
Yeah, right? That's definitely not wishing for more wishes. All billionaires go away. Boom. Anyway.
Boom, they're now trillionaires. Ah, it's a
No,
nightmare.
Oh,
you gotta
no.
word your wishes well.
Yeah. That's
Whoops.
true. Whoops.
Yeah, so I think as you all are like kind of sitting here just talking a little bit, we like see in the backdrop the kind of the tall, thin figure of the librarian Zelda moving around, the clacking of her shoes on the kind of marble floor. The place is pretty much empty except for a lot of you, though you do notice there's like a younger teenage kid wearing like a black denim kind of jacket with like eyeliner, a bunch of like kind of silver jewelry, necklaces, a lot of rings, like kind of boots. And he's sitting alone at one of the tables off like quite a distance from you all, with the glow of like the phone sort of illuminating his face as mirroring Escher. He just sits staring down into the phone, kind of texting, thumbs moving rapidly, right?
Nick is just like eyes going from the kid to Escher to the kid to Escher, just sort of like one of those like, you guys seeing this?
Can I detect thoughts?
I don't know. Can you?
I certainly can.
Detect thoughts.
We just changed. Did we just change games?
Oh no, it's on my. It's there.
Oh, I know it is. But so what are you trying to do? You're like staring at this kid. You
Yeah.
like take a look at them and are just like wondering.
Yep.
Like this is now part of Lyra's thing. This is a real indicator of the state that this girl exists in day to day now, where she's like, oh, what's that person thinking? Opening the door, like peering in. It feels very lock and key. So what are you trying to do here? Sure, you want to read their thoughts?
Yeah,
That sounds probably like an investigate roll.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, detect thoughts. Yeah. I don't really. I'm trying to be stealthy about it. Stealthy. Can I roll on that?
Or are you doing the thing every mind reader in every movie does, where they just like put their fingers to their head for a moment?
Well, so like if you're trying to make, if you're trying to be stealthy about it, like I think that it's inherently kind of stealthy, right? There's no like overt, like it's not like you start glowing like a light bulb or something when you
Right.
read somebody's mind. So I'm not sure how stealthy helps you get the information in this
No, yeah.
instance.
Totally fair.
Okay.
I think I'm going to. Well, I don't want to like instantly do something, but I feel like paranoia is like very prevalent right now.
Feels like, yeah, feels like it's probably
Right off the
relevant.
bat. So,
Yep.
yeah, I'm just. That's it. That's it.
So you're legit just using detect thoughts,
Yeah.
and then we have paranoia coming into play.
Yeah. So.
So you're making a
Nothing.
straight roll of investigate to see what happens here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Eh.
7 to 9. Okay, that's a soft hit. So you get one clue, and I am going to say, got it. Okay, I got it. What's the clue that you're trying to get?
What are they thinking right now? As they're looking at their phone.
Okay, so as your mind like opens up and you begin to kind of like tap into theirs, I think first excuse me. Excuse me. I think first you feel this sense of anxiety, anticipation. They're waiting for something to happen. They seem nervous. And the thought that's kind of like repeating itself on this sort of loop in their head is like, why would they just tell me where we're going? I would just go. Why do I have to wait here? I already committed. I just need to know where I'm supposed to meet them. So you guys see like Lyra like staring at this kid
Yep.
for a few moments.
She just like stops talking for a minute.
She's like just zoned out, kind of like staring at this kid, her like eyes fixed on him. And I think that as like she's like looking over, we hear the clacking footsteps. Hey, don't cry in my camera and microphone.
almost dangerous there.
Chaos. We hear the clacking footsteps of the librarian as she kind of like approaches your table, and I think like walking up, she's like, "Oh, hello! It's so good to see you all here today. It's been a while. How are you all doing?"
Doing good, Zelda. I mean, look, I gotta tell you, you keep putting this book, and I hold up a book on cryptids, and I'm like, you keep putting this in the fiction section, and I don't think it's true. I'm gonna keep putting it back every time.
And I think she like chuckles a little bit, like, "Oh, well, uh, I mean, I swear it's assigned. You know, it takes a. I didn't make up the Dewey Decimal System. It's just the system that we have to use to organize things. So I have to put it where people can find it, Jonathan. You know."
Fair enough, fair enough. I'm gonna put it back, guys.
And I think that she's just like, I don't know if you heard. We actually have gotten some good news. I received word the other day from the board of directors, but we've got a grant for a great deal of money. I'm going to be doing some real improvements. I think that there's going to be some infrastructure. The windows, the heating system finally is going to be changed. But the books, I've been given approval to purchase new books. It's been years. It's been so long since we've had any real funding here. I'm beside myself.
Oh, that's great news. Always glad to see money put into public use rather than private.
Yeah, especially
unless it has
education.
Unless it has some sort of underhanded meaning to it.
Where'd the money come from?
Yep.
Oh, I'm not sure yet. That the board of directors just informed us. I haven't gotten word.
Oh, we know where the money came from.
Do we?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do we?
Yeah.
Is this the decimal guy we're talking about? Keep saying Dewey.
She
You're
like
a doctor. How many hours have you spent in a library?
Hey, I'm just trying to, keep the mood light as we're all trying to figure out where this money's coming from, but seem to have an indication that I worry that it's probably one of the series of acquaintances we may have now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say so.
well, she's just like, well, I mean, that's a question for the board of directors. I'm just glad that we have the funding, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's really great.
Absolutely.
They have me into the board meetings, of course, but I was surprised when I got the email yesterday morning. Surprised but delighted.
You should look into I used to play when I had like other friends, but like tabletop like role playing games. You could have a whole section like dedicated. Just look it up. It's really fun.
Sounds interesting.
Make a community,
And I think as she's like looking to you for that, you guys hear the like dingling of the door, right? The bell that's kind of attached to the door. And as you kind of turn and look up, you see the back of this kid that was like sitting at the table is heading out the door. But there's the silhouette of like another smaller figure. It looks like a woman in kind of like the classic sort of brown trench coat, like standing framed with the rain behind and like the kind of cascade of the neon lights and the rain. And I think that you just hear her voice, and she's just like, "Oh, Michael, what are you doing here? Have you seen Derek? Do you know anything about him?" And I think you hear the voice from the kid, just like, "Huh? No, I don't know where he is. I don't know anything about it." And the woman's just like, "Michael, please, I'm worried. The school called 2 days ago. I was coming here to see if maybe I've been going everywhere. I don't know the restaurants. If you know anything, please just tell me." And I think that you hear the kid respond like, I don't know where Derek is, lady. I have no idea. Get out of my way. and I think he kind of like shoulders past her, like stepping out into the night sky, and we see her kind of turn, watching, and just like she calls like twice to him, like Michael, please. And then she turns, like looking in, and just kind of like walks into the library. And Zelda, like standing next to you all, looks a little bit alarmed and is just like, oh, well, I should go see what this is about. And
Yeah,
like starts walking
Yeah.
over to the woman.
Do we want to go see what this is about?
I think I might.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll come with you, Zelda. Lyra gets up from the table and follows Zelda. Come on.
So does Nick.
Well, if this is what we're doing, I think Jonathan's gonna go outside and try to talk to the kid.
Okay.
I think Lyra shoots Jonathan a text quick, like as they're walking over, and is like, he was waiting for somebody. Really
And-
nervous.
Yeah, he texts back THX.
So I think we see like the camera kind of lingers with Escher, who's still sitting at the table.
I'm gonna go with.
Which one?
Which one?
I don't know.
Okay, so I think we see Escher slowly like
Just like looking back.
watching the pair of them as Jonathan like starts heading for the door, and Nick and Lyra are kind of following behind Zelda as she approaches this woman, right? And the woman, like, her hair is kind of wet. She's got this sort of like mousy brown hair plastered to the side of her head. The raincoat like splattered with water from outside, and she's like clutching her purse kind of with two hands, like close up to her chest. There's a very like obvious nervousness to her whole demeanor as Zelda kind of like strides over, like kind of standing very tall over the smaller woman, and is like, good evening, miss. Is everything all right? Can I help you? And the woman's just like, I'm looking for my son, Michael. He's been missing for some days. I mean, I honestly don't know why I'm here. This isn't the type of place that he would come into a lot. His name is Michael Craig, though. I know he was here last week researching a project, and I just, well, I'm at my wit's end. I just wanted to ask, perhaps, if you'd seen him, or I have his picture. And she starts like fumbling around. She starts like fumbling around in her perch for a second, as Zelda is kind of like, well, I mean, there's many people in and out of here every day. Lots of younger folks. Most don't spend much time here. The ones that are regulars, well, I know them all, but... And the woman's like, no, he's not a regular. He's not a regular. Well, he mentioned coming here last week, and I just don't know where else to go. I've called all his friends, all the mall, the restaurants, all the places that I would normally find him. I'm just at my wit's end, miss. I don't know what else to do. And she takes this picture out. It's like a Polaroid, and she kind of hands it over to Zelda, who, as she lifts it up, I think Lyra and Nick, you can kind of see around the side of her this photograph of what looks like a young, like, teenage boy who's got, like, kind of like a purple mohawk, like spiked up, and like a whole like bunch of earrings, right? I think he's got like the septum pierced with like a ring, and like a whole kind of very similar aesthetic to the kid that just walked out the door,
I look at the picture, look at the mom, who I assume looks nothing like this.
No. No.
Is he a student out of a high school?
Yes, he is. The school called 3 days ago and said that he never arrived. I didn't get the call until the afternoon. I'm so ashamed. I feel like such a terrible parent. But, well, he didn't come home. I've called the police. I filed a missing persons report, but I can't just sit there wringing my hands.
Well, I'm kind of glad we were here. I hope you don't mind we're listening a little bit, but
Who are you?
Well, we're kind of like private investigators.
I'm a doctor.
Cool. Cool.
And I think the woman's like face like screws up a little bit, like, and she looks to Nick as he says, "I'm a doctor," and then she looks back to Zelda the librarian. He's like, "They are very competent researchers."
Yeah. We yeah, I'm Lyra. This is Nick.
I figure also I could, the doctor thing, I could check the hospital, see if, his description or picture matches anyone that's been admitted recently.
Oh. Well, so like Zelda's holding the picture, if you want to ask her for it. And I think that this woman is like, "Oh, yes, hello. My name's Emily Craig. My son is Derek." And she like gestures to the picture in Zelda's hand, who sort of like hands it casually over to the two of you. And
I
she's
take a
like,
picture of the picture with my phone, so I can.
"Got it."
Yep.
The power of the phone. And I think that, yeah, Emily just kind of like looking back to you, Lyra, is like, you're professionals then? You do this type of thing?
Yeah, actually, rather frequently lately, unfortunately. That kid that was in here, was he one of Derek's friends?
Not friends, but, well, not since they were younger. They were on a Little League team together in elementary school, but they're classmates, and Derek has changed a lot in the past few weeks. His hair, and she like gestures at the picture like he didn't always dress like that or look like that, and I've been worried that he's running with the wrong kind of kids.
I see. Do you know where he was last? His latest whereabouts?
When he left the house for school on Thursday morning.
Okay. Um,
And no one saw him at school or at all for the last 3 days.
I've called all of his friends, and I mean, you never know with teenagers, do you? Sometimes they're scared, sometimes they lie because they're embarrassed or they think they're going to get in trouble, but none of them have given me any information. I saw him on Thursday morning. I tried to give him breakfast, but he got angry with me, and like he always does.
You said he had come by the library before. Do you know if he checked anything out?
Zelda's like, well, I can certainly go find out if he did. And Emily, the mother, is sort of like, I know he was here researching a project for school. I'm not sure. He just had mentioned being at the library, and, well, like I said, I'm desperate.
well, we can certainly help you look for him if you'd be open to some help.
I'll be honest with you, Lyra. Any help I can get, I'll take. I haven't slept in days. I'm all alone. It's just Derek and and
Yeah.
I don't know what I'll do if I can't find him. I hope that he's just acting out. Nothing's happened, but I'm afraid.
I'm sure that's it. I had a similar phase when I was a teenager.
I think she looks at like the blue hair and like the dark clothes, and it's just like nods like, well, it's a hard time for us, for people, I mean.
Yeah. Can we get your number if that's okay? So that way, if we find anything, we can call you.
Of course. And I think as she starts giving you the number, and the camera kind of pulls away, we see Zelda. We hear the like clacking of her heels on the marble as she strides over to the main desk and like slips into the chair behind the computer. Right, the monitor illuminating her as she begins like clattering on the keyboard. And I think that the scene kind of fades out here, and we open back up on like Jonathan like hopping down the front steps of the library as he heads out the front door. Let me just double check, Asher. Where did you go?
Yeah, I went outside too.
Okay. So as we see Jonathan like coming down the stairs, the camera pans a little bit, and Asher like steps out of the door behind, like standing framed by these huge columns of the entrance of this place. And we see the kid like down near the sidewalk now, like striding along, still just staring down at the phone as he walks amidst the thin drizzle.
I think Jonathan walks up and really kind of makes a meal out of like looking in his pockets for something, and then asks the kid like, "Hey, buddy, do you got a light?" And then he points to like he's got a cigarette, but no way to light it.
Mm-hmm. And the kid like kind of, huh? Like turns, glancing over his shoulder, and he's like, "Oh, yeah."
I thought you might.
And he starts like patting his chest and then like reaches down into the pocket of his jeans. He's got like these ripped jeans, the like combat boots, and he takes out this black Zippo lighter that has on it like a skull and crossbones, and he like steps over to it. I think you see it easily as he's like ka-ching, like the real dramatic, like, check it out. I know how to do this shit,
What's the age of this kid? Like 16?
Probably.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He,
no,
like,
he
holds the
gladly
lighter up.
takes it from him, and then as he like exhales a big puff, he's like, "What was up with that stiff back in there, giving you some guff?"
Huh?
I mean,
Oh.
I don't mean to overhear. I just like that lady in there was yelling at you. It was.
You're talking to this kid like you're in like a 40s like
I
crime.
love it.
I
love
it.
it.
It's so good.
That's my favorite thing about Jonathan.
I mean, this is
Yeah.
a comic book panel. It's exactly
Yeah.
what this is.
That's exactly what it is.
Asher's like leaning against the column watching. They're not sure they want to be associated with Jonathan at this moment, but also don't think that he should be left to his own devices.
Ezra takes a hurt
entirely.
point with Jonathan.
It's early in the
Yeah.
night, but it's possible.
It's early in the night. So I think the kid's like holding the lighter for you as you like puff onto it, and he's like, "Eh?" And he glances up, like looking past Escher casually without even really paying attention, right at the library. And he's like, yeah, I don't know, her kid's missing or something. He goes to school with me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why she's asking me. We haven't been friends since we were in 3rd grade. Kid's a fucking idiot.
Oh man, that's rough though. Like somebody missing their kid. I get why she's worried, but yeah, I mean being rude to you is not cool.
I guess. Freaking parents, they're all just up our asses all the time. They should learn to, like, maybe if she didn't bear down on him so hard, he might not have vanished on her. I'm sure he's fine. He's probably at, well, I don't know where he is, but
You think he's okay? She thinks he's all missing. I don't know. She was making a scene.
he, I don't know. He runs with some people I know. I'm sure he's fine. I mean, if something happened, we'd have heard, right? It's the modern day. You can't just vanish bodies.
I mean, you say that, but this city is big and scary, man. I think, yeah, maybe you would think that you would know, but there are so many secrets this city has.
I think at this point he like looks up at you, Jonathan. There's this moment where you guys are like looking eye to eye, right? And I think his eyeliner is like running a little bit down his cheeks from like the thin kind of rain, his hair like kind of plastered to his head, right? And he's just like, it's like he's looking at you for the first time, and he's just like, yeah, Yeah, I guess that's true. It's a pretty wild place, huh? Hmm.
It's wild, and I feel like I've encountered a lot of craziness. My friends back in the library there, we've gone through a lot together. It's easier to go through stuff with other people. Like doing it alone, it's rough.
And I think he sort of like sighs. There's this really small exhalation as you say that, and he nods, and there's this real, like, authentic kind of moment there of like understanding. Like, yeah, like it sucks to be alone, and I think he's just like, mm-hmm, yeah, yeah, I think so. I think you're right. And it's at that moment where you're like, boop, boop, and he like looks down at the phone that he hasn't been paying attention to for a minute, and his eyes light up like, all right, man, I gotta go. Hey, have a good night. Enjoy your smoke.
Yeah, thanks, man. And I mean, if you need anything at all, we're in this library all the time.
Fucking nerds.
Yeah.
I think you hear like Leonard as he like gets down to the curb. He just gives you a like, you know.
I think as I walk back to Escher, I say, I think that went really well.
The kid did not look impressed.
I took a different kind of version of that event. He loves me.
Okay, man.
Okay, man.
Okay.
Did you find out anything useful?
Yeah, so it sounds like that other kid the lady's talking about is gone missing. This kid used to know him. It sounds like he probably still does know him. He's being real cagey about it. I don't know. Something happened to that kid. Something not good. He's definitely afraid of something, but I don't know if he did it or if he's like just afraid of the person and knows what kind of business this kid's in. But I think that mom has every right to be scared.
Well, yeah, if your kid's missing, clearly something's wrong.
Definitely.
Should we go see what's going on inside? There's no point in standing in the rain.
After you. And I think he gestures back in.
Okay. And so as we see like Jonathan gesture for the door, the kind of camera like zooms past the pair of you back into the inside, where I think Zelda is like sitting at the desk, and yeah, Emily has kind of like given you her number, Nick and Lyra, and like she's like reaches for the picture back, and she's like, well, there's a few more places I wanted to try to stop tonight. Thank you all for listening, at least. I don't know if you'll actually be able to help, but, well, it helps me to think that anybody cares. Thank you.
We'll do
Yeah.
our best. And also, you know, Nick thinking about his own life is just like, don't blame yourself for what kids do. It's not your fault. Sometimes we act in ways that isn't always in our best interest, and it's not anything that our parents are responsible for.
She just sighs and like nods, like, I know that that's true, but, well, there's nothing like not knowing where your child is. Thank you.
After she leaves,
Mhm.
Nick is going to do some stuff.
Okay. So I think that like we see her like heading for the door, and there's this moment where like she meets Escher kind of like stepping back through, and she kind of like steps out of the way. She's putting this picture back into her purse, and just like good evening, as the pair of you two come in, and she heads out into the street.
How'd it go with you guys?
Pretty good. I made a new friend.
Oh, great. Did he was like
He's-
waiting for something. He was real nervous. And did you like get like, did you say where he was going or anything?
He whenever he got a text, he booked it immediately. But it sounds like this kid was running with a crowd of people that he knows that I feel like it's less than savory types, and it definitely he was trying to distance himself from the mom, from the kid. I don't know how connected they still are, but he's scared.
Should we like try and trail him, do you think? Think he's connected to it?
I think he's probably more connected than the mom is if we're gonna trail anyone.
Yeah. We got the mom's number. She's, obviously very scared. Tried to reassure her. So she's going elsewhere to look for Derek. And we got a picture.
I'm gonna send the picture to the hospital, see if anyone that matches his description may have been admitted, unknown or anything like that.
Okay. And then what else did you want to do?
So, along with sending the picture to one of my coworkers, Nick is also going to text and say, Perez, got a favor to ask.
Okay. Cool. So I think that Nick sends the text, and Perez is like, there's like just a few moments before you see like the bubble of like Perez is typing,
Yeah.
and like a few moments later you get this response back like, oh shit, only Jonathan ever calls me. What do you need?
Careful, Jonathan's gonna get jealous.
I think it says like, don't know if I can help, but what do you need?
As I'm flipping back between messages, just so it looks like I'm typing one to my coworker, but also to Perez, so it doesn't. If they look at the coworker's phone, they won't just see like one image. So I'm just telling like my hospital coworker, hey, is there anyone that matches the description? That sort of stuff. But for Perez, I'm saying that missing kid. Do you know of any sort of activities involving younger kids, or if I send you a picture to match a description in case it's someone like us?
And so you get the like typing back bubble of like, oh shit. And I think the response is like, we always take stuff with kids seriously. Send me the picture. I'll see what I can figure out.
Trusting you with this, you keep talking about it. This is your one. And he sends a picture.
This is your one. Heavy. So this, I guess, is the beat where I just ask you, Kevin, are you making an investigate roll here using a
Convinced
series
to
of
help,
acquaintances? Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, because like I'm not investigating, but I am convincing Perez to try and
I guess
help
like
on her end.
these are the two distinctions, right? Like a convince will like put Perez in a position to help you, but I think the investigate would just net you clues, right? It's the idea that like they're going to do a bunch of stuff between Perez and your coworker.
Oh,
and
cool.
whatever.
Yeah, then I would do investigate. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, both.
Yeah, so I think that then you could definitely use your new crew tag of a series of acquaintances. Seems like fundamental,
Perfect.
Does that burn that immediately? Because I don't want to burn it.
No, use it because
do
none
it.
of us will use it. Like,
Okay.
you just use it. 100%.
All right.
Go for
It
it.
does burn it immediately. Yeah, like all the crew tags are what's called fragile. That's not right, but it's just the idea that once we call on them, they burn till the end of the session, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. Then so I'll use that. I'm gonna use immigrants get the job done.
Yes.
Working with Perez also. I don't think the not a cliche fits, but I am going to choose medical practitioner.
Yeah, that works.
Because that's the connection I'm going through here. Oh, I don't know. Diagnose the problem is very specific to medical issues, so I don't think it applies here necessarily. Although I'm diagnosing a situational issue. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. It's 1, 2, 3 so far.
What about blends in socially? Is that
I think-
appropriate here?
I was gonna say that I think that could work, certainly from the coworkers aspect. And
I think it works because like it fits with like your relationship with Perez, right? There's like
Right.
It's
yeah.
like charisma.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Okay,
I think that's the part of like you convincing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
cool. All right, so that's what I got.
Okay, so you're making an investigate roll with the power of 3. I don't think there's any real
4.
weaknesses here. Oh, 4. Sick. Go for it.
Okay, cool. Here we go. Only an 8.
8. That's a mild success. You do get clues equal to power. So you have 4 clues that you could ask questions about here. Okay.
Cool. Do you want me to do that, or should I? Or do you want to?
Yeah,
Wait. To also
you-
choose one.
You can
Oh, that's
ask clues.
yours.
I think what I'm going to choose is whoever or whatever you're asking questions about can ask you one question as well. I think it's
Fair.
ultimately going to be like Perez is going to pose a question to you, and that will represent kind of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, the first immediate clue is: has anyone that matched this kid's description been admitted to the hospital or anything like that?
No, but this kid's name just came up on some medical records from the hospital as part of a series of tests that were run at their high school.
Interesting.
Oh, that's
Second
Yeah.
question: is there information on what exactly those tests were, or would I have to go in? Okay.
No, but there is information that the test was run by a corporation called Global Genetics.
Not
Cool.
good.
Okay, great. And then from the Perez end, any pings or activities about youth-related, organizations or crimes or gangs, I guess.
Yes, not gangs, but crimes in the sense that Perez has got the name of a local club where
Our favorite place.
a bunch of underage high school kids have been getting like pinched over the course of like the last month. It's turned into like a hangout for high school kids, and it's like a nightclub, right, with alcohol and all that stuff. They're getting it illegally, right? The name of the club is Club Viral.
Ugh.
Nice.
oh boy.
Now we have to go somewhere even worse than Club Delphi. It's Club Delphi, but with high schoolers.
But the
Yeah.
best. The best
Escher's
one I
calling
ever
in
went
sick.
to was-
Escher's sick.
She's like, "Hey, Iggy,
Like,
where are?"
I already know before going in there, the floor is so sticky in this place.
When I was
Oh.
younger and under 18, I went to an underage club once, and it was the worst experience of my life. it
Oh
was,
God.
it was
So-
not a good place.
I stopped clubbing once I turned 20. I like used to go to the clubs in Queens all the time when I was in high school. And then I like got out of high school. I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, don't want to do this anymore. I much prefer lounges. Like I talk to a human instead of like
Oh yeah.
loud music blasting into my ears the entire time.
Yeah. I'm all about a
Listen,
lounge.
I am an old man.
Me too. Old man.
That's such an old thing to say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's great.
That laughing.
Hey, I've
I
never
don't
been
disagree
to a
with you,
club,
but it's
so-
very funny to say it out loud.
That's an old soul. Yeah. Don't...
Anyway,
I never liked clubs. I never went to them. I never liked them. I went when I lived in Spain, and I didn't like it, and that was the end of that.
it's just
Um,
I like dancing, and it's unfortunate that that's the one place where that shit happens. Anyway,
I cannot wait to send Escher to Club Twilight, where everyone sparkles. in the sunlight.
I'm not anti-sparkle.
No, I know.
Very
I do love
pro
a sparkle.
sparkle.
Pro sparkles, yeah.
okay, so club viral, and for the last one, I don't know obviously the depth in which they've been doing their own investigations, but has the kids been a person of interest, or does the image look like a person of interest upon
No.
the investigate. Okay, great.
Well, so there's a missing persons report
Right.
filed for them, but otherwise, no. Like they've never had any run-ins with the law.
Okay. Well, what I mean is because Perez is part of the organization that's organizing what seems like a catalog of people like us. So it was more of a like.
Oh, no.
Okay, cool.
Definitively not. No. So I
Cool.
accidentally gave you two answers there, but no. And so I think that what
Well, I
Perez.
was clarifying my question.
Yep.
Is what it was.
Yep. No, I know. That's cool. I think that what Perez asks you in return is, what's your plan? What are you guys going to try to do?
Um.
I know that's a big question, but first impulse.
Yeah. My first instinct answer is find this kid.
Okay.
That message.
Got it. And so
An
Perez is
elaborate
like,
plan.
yeah, Perez is like, I'll keep you posted if I hear anything.
Appreciate it. Then
And
conversation.
right. And so I think that Zelda is like, at this point, she's like, you hear the laser printer bzz, 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 as Nick's like going back and forth on these texts. And she would probably like get up from behind the desk with like this sheet of paper and like walk it over and hand it to Lyra, I guess, and be like, he took out a handful of books all about genetics, biology, and then a series of texts about a genetics corporation, Global Genetics.
Okay. That's
They
weird.
were research documents that we have in the library here that were published by a bunch of research scientists working for the corporation.
Does Nick hear Global Genetics?
Probably. I think Nick's like in the midst of getting the information, but
Okay.
so yeah, I think he probably does. Yep.
That's super weird. What was the kid doing looking up genetics and shit?
They tested apparently a bunch of kids at his school.
What?
Sounds
Whoa.
super illegal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is that a thing that they can do? That doesn't seem right.
I'm a doctor, not a lawyer. Damn it, Lyra, I'm a doctor, not a lawyer.
I would never let it. If I was in high school, I would never let anybody touch me. 10-foot pole with anything that sounded like that.
Well, they probably didn't say exactly what they were doing. Probably just paid for some usual checkup tests and then did something.
Wrapped up in a blood drive or something.
Exactly. Usher knows what's up.
I donated blood in high school.
Gosh, I hate that.
You're a really good human.
Well, okay. Where do we go from here?
I mean, do you want me to try to tail that kid? You said it yourself. I could try to just fly
mean-
above him and see if he's going from right here to that club or something. Like, it might be interesting to see who he meets up with.
Oh, I need to pass that information about the club because you haven't known that yet.
Sorry.
So I would say also, well, I think I may know a little bit more. It seems that kids around his age have been going to some club viral.
Another club, huh?
Yeah. And if it's filled with underage kids, it's gonna be a great time.
I wouldn't say that any louder than you just did.
I mean, does anybody else have any pressing plans for tonight?
I thought we were going to discuss the latest book we were reading about cryptids.
We can talk about that tomorrow. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody should do some research on global genetics
Because we all just
and
look at that
not
Yeah.
and not go to the club.
Got your laptop on you, Usher?
Always.
shit. But you met such a good one of our series of acquaintances. at the last.
True, you're so good at it.
You are.
Really not.
Like the secret weapon of social engagement is Escher. Yeah.
I don't
I
think
know.
that's true.
You have a real mysterious aura about you.
Beguiling beauty.
Yeah, Escher. I mean, I don't know if you do want to just like look that up quick, but also Jonathan. You still have like Anastasia's number, right?
Oh yeah.
She might know something about a big global corporation that deals with genetics, maybe.
Nick looks over at that, by the way, and you still have Anastasia numbers, and just is like, gives like a nod.
Yeah, and he goes, yeah, that maybe I go hit her up for sure, because also I don't know if a guy like me would really fit in with a teenage club kind of environment.
What are you talking about, Jonathan?
Okay, but you're the one who talked to what's the kid's name? Michael?
I
Yeah.
did. That kid does like me a lot.
Listen, we are gonna do this. We are doing this together. There's no way that one of us is gonna be left out of going to an underage club.
Yeah,
That's
nothing
Iggy.
weird about 4 adults walking into a club full of high schoolers.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Nick opens his mouth to try and explain that technically it's a club for adults that high schoolers just keep getting busted in, but realizes he can't really say it out loud, so then stops.
Listen, not for nothing, but I'm not that much older than them, so
Yeah.
So you should definitely go.
yeah, but I'm not going alone.
I mean, I'd go. I'm only 23, so 24. Med school. I
Wow,
don't know.
there's a real like echo between Nick and Lyra that I hadn't thought about before. Of you two both being very young like that. That's awesome. Okay, cool.
And I'm young at heart, so I'll fit right in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. So you guys have a great time. I'm going
No.
to go home and research global genetics.
You have your laptop on you, Escher.
Yeah,
Plop
we
it
all
on
have-
I'm
the
not
table.
going to
We all
pull
have
it out
phones.
at the club.
No, do it now. It's gonna take you 2
I
seconds.
thought we wanted to go find this kid.
We are.
Kid has been gone for like 10 to 15
Yeah,
minutes
the
at
kid's
this
been
point.
gone. What kid are you tailing? He left forever
What
ago.
are you talking about? Jonathan could find him like that.
I know these streets.
Yeah.
Can we just only start talking in our codes and our themes?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, speaking of, I'll just toss this out right now. Calling on the paranoia, got me a upgrade.
Oh
For
no!
subversion.
More advancements for Lyra. Here we go.
Yeah, it's not terrible, okay. But it's Under the Wings of Darkness, which
It's
is
not terrible. It's
No.
just a new power called Under the Wings
That's-
of
It's
Darkness.
from the book. It's from the book. When you sneak around with power tags from this theme on a 10+, you can use your powers to hide or mask the actions of another character in the scene.
Nice. That's actually really cool.
Double sneaky.
Nothing about hurting anybody or crippling minds or anything.
No, that's a nice
Very
change
tame.
of pace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just your aura of darkness grows.
Yes. Anyway. Well, yeah. I mean, Jonathan.
Yeah, I think
What?
I think Jonathan pulls out his phone and texts Anastasia, and just texts global genetics ? Sent.
Yeah.
She'll know.
Love it. I love it.
Oh, great. So we have an in. So that means, Escher, you could definitely come with us.
No, I think I should go sit back down in our reading room and do my research there.
Nick is gonna do a convince roll against Escher.
This is very allowed, by the way.
Fire
This
off.
is how this game is built.
Oh, how many hurt points do I have with you?
Yeah,
None.
mine.
Ah!
Right.
in a scenario where you're
Oh, I've got
rolling
2 health points on you. Guess what?
in a scenario like this, you guys can't use harm and help
Oh.
against one another,
That
though the
sounds
other
good.
two can like put coins in the corner of the various opponents.
I'm
In
hands
this.
out. I don't want to
Yeah.
force anybody into this. It's gonna be terrible.
Yeah, this is like the gods at the Battle of Troy. Like I can't.
Yeah. No.
The
Well.
gods at the Battle of Troy.
I know how that
Jonathan, you totally should go see if you can find that kid though, and text us.
To the skies. And I think Jonathan like waddles outside.
I watched 2 episodes of What We Do in the Shadows yesterday, so now I'm
What?
picturing moth.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be great.
It's very funny, Sam.
Can I remake my character to just be Matt Berry?
Yes, I'm going to allow that. Yes.
Okay, how does this roll work?
In a cave.
So, how this roll
Very
works is you're making a convince roll against Escher. You have to basically tell me what tags you're using to convince Escher. And then all of a sudden, this whole system is going to make a lot more sense because you're basically threatening Escher with a condition unless they do what you want.
Oh boy. All right.
That face said. It's pure gold.
What can I use here? I'm gonna use. I don't know if I'm necessarily approaching from all angles, but I would love to believe I am.
I think I have to say you are not, unfortunately, because the rest of your
I'm
your
one of the
crew
angles.
is
Yeah.
not helping.
Yes.
I'm gonna use bit of a coconut.
Yep.
Blends in socially.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I don't.
Escher does not care about American or pop culture, so that's
No.
No.
I burned my absolute focus. That's unfortunate. I love my old immigrants get the job done,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that might be it.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a 3.
Okay. Making a convince roll against Escher with the power of 3.
Can I actually add something?
Maybe.
I'm gonna add my weakness tag.
Oh, nice. Which one?
Tries too hard,
Yes, of course you are. Highly appropriate.
and that will also evolve me, which I will look into on how to evolve this a little bit after the session.
Okay, got it. You're not a cliche tag. Okay, cool. So you're making a convince roll with the power of only 2 then.
Yes.
Go for it.
Oh, it's a definite miss.
Yeah, stay away from me.
Ooh, brutal. Okay, so
Worth it.
I love
so I get to invoke an MC move here. This is so tough. What am I gonna do as I'm
Please
doing
no.
this?
it. No burning lights, please.
I know. Okay.
Uh-oh.
What was the status you would have applied to Escher?
Team player.
Okay, I'm going to apply a status to you of 2 of out on a limb. I think it's the idea that like you feel like oh my gosh, like how are they not getting on the same page as me? This is like backfired disastrously. Zed obviously may respond however they would like to this effort, but fundamentally I think you have a status of like you're feeling like wait a minute, like I thought we've been through so much together. Can I really like trust these people? Like I thought we're a team.
Sweet.
Oh.
Does that seem fair? I think
Yeah.
that's- yeah.
I'm helping the group. I just don't want to go to another shitty club.
All right. It's fine. Thought it would be something fun for all of us, I guess, but it's okay.
The guilt.
I'm fine.
Well, that's
It's
more of
fine.
like me also saying the like out on a limb situation of like, oh,
Just for the sake of like clarity, I use the hard MC move of like apply a status, right, and a little bit of turn your move against you. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so Escher, you want to do research. The
Mhm.
rest of you want to go to the club. Jonathan, you've waddled outside alone. Yep. So you make it out in front of the place. What are you doing here, Jonathan? As we like cut to you, the rain like kind of it's not even really raining. It's that like thin kind of drizzle mist in the air, right?
Just
The
a little
neon
hazy.
signs everywhere. The light of like the neon kind of crossing the beams like visible as they kind of refract through the moisture in the air.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Jonathan is immediately going to like look around and make sure like it's coast is clear, but then just like launch into the sky, like his giant wings just completely unraveling from his back, and he's going to fly around and see if he can find the kid with all the black in the skulls.
Okay.
And then so yeah, I've been looking. I'm trying to figure out exactly which, because investigate is more for like clues, like you had said earlier. So it doesn't seem like that fits as much as like maybe sneak around, since I don't want to be caught by him.
Yep. I think it's really like interesting where like so sneak around obviously makes sense, right? I think it's implied, but I think the investigate it's so broad because the clues can be anything, right? Of like, can I find the kid? You know,
Okay, yeah.
like whatever. So I think I think they're linked moves. I think you're making an investigate to see if you could find the kid, and then what you can find about him, right? Like you could use any other clues you get there to be like, where is he going? Where is he? Da 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 da. Whatever. Um, and then I think the sneak around comes afterwards if you find him to be like, does he see me?
Okay, yeah, that makes
Does
sense.
that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
So in a linked role, you can't use the same tag in like both halves. So if you have stuff that you think like you want to use on both sides, you just got to decide which one you want to commit it to, the investigate or the sneak. But yeah, so what do we got here? As you're gonna like take off into the air to find the kid.
Yeah. So then I'm definitely going to use my giant wings.
Yep,
It's going to
perfect.
help me. I will use I own the streets to try
Yep,
to like
perfect.
look around. And I think I'm also going to do snooping around.
Perfect.
And then I think I'll stick with just those three so that I could, if I do find them, save a couple for the stealth.
For your
But I think,
sneak. Okay, got it. So you're
um,
making an investigate with a +3.
yeah, I don't think. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. Investigate roll 13.
Hey.
Oh, big hit.
Okay.
Got it. So you have 3 clues. What do you want to do?
Yeah, the first one, can I find the kid?
Yes, I think it takes you some time, but you had an idea of where he was going. He was walking. You're like kind of flying down the main avenue. And so the camera up above Jonathan, we just see the silhouette of wings, the dust kind of trailing into like this thin moisture that's falling with everything. Eyes glowing red. And I think probably like the whole screen shifts to that like red hue of like Jonathan's view as he's peering down the like cascade of color of the neon kind of drowning us everywhere melts away as we get into this kind of monochromatic view of this red view. Cars moving through the streets, puddles splashing up around them, and we see many people everywhere. But after a moment, some time flying, cutting down over buildings, over alleys, we see wheeling around a corner this kid in his black denim, his combat boots kind of thrashing through the puddles underneath, the phone grasped in his hands like some totem giving him strength. So, yes.
Awesome. And then, okay, so for the second clue, can I tell, like, either if he's going to meet somebody right now, or if he's going, like, does it look like he's like moving with a purpose to meet somebody or go into a building, or is he more just like kind of power walking down the street focused on the phone?
It's he like stops for a moment as you're like circling around above him, and he looks around, and you see him look up at the street sign, and then look back down at his phone, and then he turns and starts heading in a direction, and you're like, he's definitely going somewhere with intention, right? He's going to meet someone.
Okay. And then for the third clue,
You don't have to spend it now. You're
Yeah,
always
that-
allowed to like save it, right?
I think that would be good to save and then use here in a little bit if we keep, especially if I'm still tailing him kind of right now.
You got it. And plus,
Yeah.
we're going to make the sneak roll in a second. And the big thing is like we always just keep in mind the like method and the like way that you got the clues, the method and the source, right? Like the clue can only answer a question that you would be able to answer, like seeing the kid flying over him in the street, right?
Yeah, I can't like read his text messages. That's way too far.
Right. I mean, even theoretically you could. But so let's go ahead and make a stealth check or your sneak around roll, a stealth check.
Okay, I think I'll definitely use nimble as a fox.
Hell yeah.
Try to. I don't have as much here.
This is a tricky one for you, yeah.
Maybe would visceral sense of danger to be able to like. I kind of have a sense to be able to tell when he's looking up that I can.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Yeah. There's the danger of losing him, right? Yeah.
Then I do think I have to take though the weakness tag moth dust because as you did point out, it is kind of already falling down, and if somebody looked up, they could see it.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, so I think those are so a power of 1 total for this sneak. Not the greatest.
You are a giant moth flying through the air,
It's
so
true.
kind of fair. 8. The
Wild
results are
success.
complicated. The MC chooses 1. Okay. Do you? I'm not going to make you leave something important behind. Okay, I got it. I think you're just discovered. I think it's the very simply like as the moth dust is kind of falling, and I think it kind of like creates this kind of paste on his phone a little bit, you know, between like the boisterous kind of clinging to the screen already and this like dust, and he like wipes his phone off and like looks up and sees the silhouette. I think the camera shot is like just this view of Jonathan with the wings sprawled out, right? The trench coat like trailing behind him, these red eyes glowing down, and he's just like, holy fucking shit, and starts like running down
It's
the
about
street.
the right reaction to see a giant moth creature in the sky.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, pure terror. So I don't know. You tell me, just jump in anytime you want to know about that third clue, right? But he definitely discovers you and starts running.
Yeah. I feel like I want to follow him until I get a sense of like the next clue is like where's he heading, and then the second I feel like he has like gone inside a building or is getting there, then I want to leave him alone so I don't scare him more than necessary.
Okay, absolutely. What you see is as he's like running, you realize the direction that he's going, this turn that he very intentionally made, is going into like the industrial section of the city, which is strange in and of itself. And as he's like running down the street, I think you see him like duck through a hole in a fence, and he's charging through this empty lot, and then he climbs another fence, like leaping over it into a junkyard that's like right kind of on the edge of the industrial sector of town. So you know like exactly where he's going.
Okay.
And yeah, what do? You said you're going to turn back.
Yeah, or at least I think I'm gonna stop like following him as much and then relay that information via text to the rest of the group.
Sick.
Just that, yeah, he is. I did make contact with him. He's heading to like this industrial junkyard, but that he also spotted me, so I stopped tailing.
Got it. So I think yeah, we see like the shot is like Jonathan with the wings, like whoo, the dust kind of cascading around him as he lands like on the edge of a building somewhere, right? Like looming down. And as we see the like text go out, the like push buttons, the camera like kind of trails away and turns across this cascade of lights of the city, the like many sounds and smells kind of filling it up as we come back into the library. So what's happening with you other three?
Well, one, I did upgrade my theme book.
Oh, nice. What'd you
Um,
take?
since this upgrade happened, because I failed at trying to do something, I
Mhm.
decided to give myself a weakness tag in
Oh,
response.
nice. Yes.
And so the weakness tag I gave for personality seems appropriate upon which who I failed with. So it's B. What sort of people? What sort of people or conditions make your personality less effective? So it doesn't care about pop or American culture.
Oh, I love it.
That's
I
great.
love it.
That's
Uh,
good.
the counterculture people thing or like really
Yeah.
turn their nose up at you, right? Okay, sick. And this is the thing, like I just want to stop and mention, but like this is what's and I talk about it all the time, you guys, but like for anybody who's been watching, this is what's so cool about City of Mist. You advance by like using your weaknesses. So literally an advancement is giving yourself another weakness. Like that's a powerful tool as a player playing this character to be like, no, I want to grow more. It's almost like you can imagine it like a multiplier on your experience in a D&D game or something like that, right? Like, it's a very neat system when you really start to think about it. Okay, cool. So, back to the library. Nick, Lyra, Escher, what are you three doing? Escher, what are you going to do?
Escher would like to see the future and find out if this kid's even going to be at this stupid club that everybody wants to go to.
Amazing. Escher can see the future for anybody out there paying attention. What else they can do? I don't know. But they can see the future.
So I'm gonna roll investigate, and then I'm probably gonna roll another one if I start doing this global genetics or whatever it's called.
Okay, so
Um,
we're doing one investigate, which is
yeah, but
Escher,
they're
like
separate
literally.
actions.
Got it. One of these investigates is Escher literally looking into the future to try to see is this kid going to be there. Okay.
Mhm.
So what do you got for that?
Premonitions and gut sense of danger, because I am trying to determine if it's going to be dangerous. Um, uh, and insatiable curiosity,
Okay.
because otherwise I would just send them and not care. And then I'm calling on my weakness tag of isolated by knowledge.
Oh yeah, fair. So you're rolling with the power of 2.
Yes.
Okay, go for it. 10. Nice. Great success. So 2 clues. What do you got?
So
And mark attention.
we were wondering if Derek is gonna
Derek.
be there, or Michael is gonna be there. Are either of them gonna be there?
So I think that yeah, we what does it look like externally as Escher does this? Like what are we seeing?
I think as everybody's trying to like convince them to come, they like give a heavy sigh and they're like, okay, hang on a second, and they like go stand in a corner and like close their eyes. Not like facing the wall, like they're
That's what I was
like,
curious.
like,
Are they like with their head down, like I'm in trouble? No. So they like step away from the group for a second, closing their eyes.
yeah, I think they like kneel down into like kind of a squat so they can like focus and like make their little cave.
Hmm. And so like head down, like the kind of glorious kind of mop of hair falling down around to like frame their face. Asher like looks, and I think that you see this like club viral like kind of manifest in front of you in your mind's eye, and you realize it's like a play off of all this like contemporary culture of viral media and yada yada yada. There's all these like televisions up there with like tweets from this one and Instagram feeds and all the things that one would expect affiliated with that kind of nonsensory that I won't say because I'm too old and will date myself. But Escher, as you're like kind of looking, I think we see this almost like the documentary filmmaker in you like visualizes this whole thing, like the film like moving in fast forward, right? And it gets to like the end of the night with the doors closing, and then I think it even like rewinds itself, and you're like scanning through the faces in the crowd, and no, neither of those two kids will be at that club tonight.
Great, so we don't have to go.
Or do you? Second clue.
I guess, do I see anyone I recognize there?
Great question.
Not that I hang out with a whole lot of high schoolers.
Anyone you recognize? No.
Okay.
The type of people Escher would know would not hang out in a place like this, probably.
Exactly.
No.
So I think Escher will come back and tell the group, like, look, neither of those kids are even going to be there. I don't think there's a whole lot of point in going.
But the people that he hangs around with that his mom was saying might be.
Yeah.
So a bunch of adults are going to go in and ask some kids if they've seen this kid, and you think that's going to work?
Find them pretty easily.
Okay, then you go.
I'm not excited about it, but I mean, I don't know. The kid, Derek, he had blue hair. I had blue hair. Like, maybe.
Had?
No.
As Nick looks at your hair.
Yeah, I cut it off.
Oh, did you? Sorry, I didn't know that. I've been gone.
Yeah, at the very end of season 1. Yeah, I think I mean, I don't know if I'll do a good job, but I can at least try. When I was like a little younger, I never went in to the club, but I like, yeah. Anyway.
I was never cool enough to get into any places like this.
I was never interested in actually going in, but like to be seen there helped. You know. But anyway, yeah. And Jonathan seems to have tracked this kid to a what's the word?
Junkyard.
Thank you.
Junkyard is the word.
Just
Equally cool hangout spot.
yeah. So we go meet up with Jonathan and then head to the club.
If he even wants to go to club, we could. And I know this
I
never
could do it
is
alone.
said when in movies, but we could split up.
We could split
Escher
up.
and Jonathan check out the junkyard, and you and I check out the club.
Okay. I gotta say, Nick, I don't know if me being with you is gonna help me in your like, doctor's thing. I need to like dress you up a little bit.
I mean, he's not in scrubs.
Yeah,
but
I'm like,
He's probably wearing like a Marvel t-shirt.
Yeah, but
yes, he is
I
doing
was,
that.
like
Yeah.
black,
Correct.
like aesthetic, and the kids like
Captain
dark
Marvel is
aesthetic.
by this point, or whatever
Yeah.
number they'd be.
You might just need to get you like a dark jacket.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've got clothes that I could change into if we want
Yeah,
to make a
it's
quick
like-
pit stop.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's just like, get some more like black clothing into this situation. I think we'll be good to go.
Okay, so is that going to be the deal? You're like sending Escher to meet Jonathan?
Well,
And you-
if Escher would like to do that, I'm not sending Escher to do anything.
No, nobody
Should
sends
get
Escher.
Trojans.
Anyway. I just
That's
need to request.
established.
Why Zed is asking why the junkyard? I missed that part.
The kid that Jonathan
where
was
he
like
went.
trailing
Yeah.
ran into a junkyard. Yeah.
Michael.
Okay.
Michael and Derek.
MD.
MD.
God.
Because there's a doctor in the house. So,
Yeah.
what's the move here? Asher, are you doing anything else here? I know you were like talking about like investigating this corporation.
Yeah, I was, but apparently now I'm getting sent to the dump.
I feel
Hey,
like
Club
I feel-
Viral or a junkyard? Which
Oh, I
one?
definitely am picking the junkyard
Yeah.
over that place any day of the week.
Oh, the junkyard probably smells better.
Oh
Does less Axe body spray.
Oh, bleh.
my god.
Axe survived to 2080. Jesus.
Of course, dude.
Of
Excellent.
course.
It's a whole product line now. Yeah.
Oh, the neon colors fit right in.
Oh, that's
Does.
true.
It
Marketed
brings back
well
such
for Neon
vivid
Metropolis.
memories of high school, of walking past some kid's locker that they just like had opened and just like a wave of like cologne.
It
Just
brings back
in the
such
hallway.
vivid memories of high school of opening a locker and spraying myself.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
and everyone who had it had like a special way that they would spray it, like
Yeah.
once or
the
yeah.
X or the swirl. Oh my god. Oh no.
to the junkyard, says boys from the Baltic Star. So, Lyra and Nick are going to head to Club Viral. Escher, what would you like to do here in this beat? Are you going to like linger for a minute to continue to research? You going to go try to meet Jonathan? What do you want to do? What does Escher want?
I think probably still do research first.
Okay.
Like if
It'd be good to have a
Jonathan leaves the junkyard, he can text me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I think that we like see the scene as like Nick and Lyra head out. Nick's gonna like go to grab some clothes that are a little bit more black and appropriate and less doctorly and Marvel like. And Escher's like cracks open the computer. And so what do you want to do here? You're looking up global genetics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm gonna do another investigate roll. Insatiable curiosity, unmatched work ethic, a keen eye for detail. And I mean, how hard is it to find out stuff about this place? Because that will determine if I do persistent in the face of obstacles or not. But if it's pretty obvious, then that's not really useful.
Put it in. Yeah, let's put it in. Let's add it because, yep.
Okay.
Like what you want to know versus what they're like putting out about themselves are very separate things, right?
Sure.
Like I think there is like the standard of obstacle of like, okay, this is this company's public image. What's the truth, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think that's probably it.
Okay, cool. I don't think we have to pull on any of your weaknesses.
I don't think so.
Okay. What were you gonna say, Taylor?
No, I just was thinking, would we have known, Nick would have found out when the tests were? Like when they were done?
I don't think they said no.
Okay.
They didn't say. You don't know. You just know that like the kid's name was on a list as having like some tests done by this company.
Gotcha.
Okay. So Escher, what do you got there? 4?
Mm-hmm.
So you make it an investigate roll with the power of 4. Very formidable. Holy great success. So you got 4 clues. What do you want to know about global genetics?
Oh, jeez. I mean, what does the website say that they do?
The website says that they're a kind of like genetic research company that does like genetic testing and can give you one of these like DNA readouts like these companies nowadays, and that they're making the advanced science of genetics accessible to the everyday citizen.
Sure, they are.
Great.
Does it say anything about like partnering with schools or an educational program or anything?
Yes. Gotcha. I'm sorry.
What a DM move.
I think that you catch like a readout like we're undergoing a new program where we're working with schools across the country to to gather vital information.
Hmm.
Um, when was this company founded?
Um, 6 years ago.
Don't like it.
You're allowed to save clues if you want to hang on to the last one for
Yeah.
a sec. Okay.
I
Okay.
think that's what I'm gonna do.
So you gather all this up. Is there any like sharing of this before you roll or what? Or before I shift the spotlight?
Well, I think I stayed to do that and they
Yep.
left.
Yep. You did. Okay, cool. So I think that as we like the scene shifts from Escher, like kind of like that like staccato piano playing of Escher working magic from the keyboard to the scene of like Jonathan on top of the building, peering down into the junkyard. Jonathan, what would you like to do?
Yeah, I think hmm. I think I want to go in for another look. I want to like try to be stealthy again and just see who this kid is meeting up with.
Okay, sick. So you're gonna make like a second attempt to like circle
Yeah.
in on this place and see what's going on.
Trying to
So let's see. Let's make a sneak around roll.
Okay.
As you're like peering down from the top of this building, you see this junkyard spread out, kind of like impossibly far, right? It's much bigger than a junkyard that we might be like imagine in a sprawling metropolis, you know. The barbed wire fence around the edges of it, many like ruined cars and buses and all manner of like these giant hulking crushed machines, old like construction cranes leaned over and wrecking balls. And I think there's a real like absence of the kind of perpetual neon that soaks up every like thing in this space, right? As we're in like this ruined, battered industrial part of town. And Jonathan like leaps off the building. And what do we got, Sheldon?
I'm gonna use again like his giant wings,
Mm-hmm.
him being nimble as a fox, and
Mm-hmm.
then snooping around.
Perfect. Got it. For another sneak around roll with the power of 3. I'm not calling in any of your weakness tags, so go for it.
All right.
Actually, you know what? I will call. Well, no, it doesn't matter. You just rolled.
Done it.
Yeah, you're all good. You're all good. Okay, so you like leap off the building, the wings unfurling, and like silently kind of drop down in, circling over. I think the camera like trailing behind you as you like pitch and weave through like the scattered wreckage of like these kind of the arms of cranes and backhoes and excavators rising up out of this place. And I think as you circle over the junkyard itself, you see a scene of a small group of kids And I think that we see like kind of emerging up out of like the shadows of kind of the towering rubble next to them. There's this cluster of what looks like maybe 8 or 10 kids, and they're standing in the quintessential teenage circle. I think we see the like flaring cherries of like cigarettes. Like one of them kind of casually throws a beer bottle, and as the camera like follows the bottle, the kind of last vestiges spraying out the top as it cartwheels away, smashing on a piece of rubble. Stepping out of the shadows comes Michael. His coat wet, his phone not in his hand for the first time ever that we've seen this kid as he comes striding up towards this group of friends or associates or whatever.
Series of
Acquaintances.
acquaintances.
Precisely.
I think I want to get closer and see if I can hear them.
Okay.
Like I want to hear what they're talking about.
Okay. So I think that we see like swoop down and kind of drop in onto like one of the ruined cranes where you land like ever so lightly, the wings like furling into your back, and you crouch down. This massive kind of gargoyle of a moth that has been circling over the scene silently, shrinking down into one ragged man in this trench coat, like perched on this crane listening in. And I think that Michael is striding up like some fucking thing was following me. Have you guys ever seen anything like that? It was like a fucking giant moth in the sky, but it had glowing red eyes. And I think that like one of the other kids is like, "Did you start drinking already? What the fuck, man?" And they kind of like hand him a beer, like, "You're losing it, giant fucking moth." And a couple of them are kind of like laughing at him, and he's like, "No, I'm serious. I'm serious. It was, I saw it right there in the sky, these glowing red eyes. Anyway, what the fuck, you guys? Why didn't you just fucking tell me where you were gonna be?" And then the other kids are like, "Doesn't work like that, Mikey." And he's like, "All right, well, I've done everything I was supposed to do." And they're like, "Yeah, well, so have we." And I think that you see now, like 2 or 3 of these kids look to the others, and you realize there's this kind of like unofficial division in the circle that you can kind of read. Of like a couple of these kids seem very like nervous and anxious standing in this group. And as Michael walks up and like kind of steps in among them, I think we see 2 of them kind of like eyeing over the rest of the group. And the one that's talking is like, "You sure you're ready for this?" And Michael's like, yeah, I'm fucking sure. "Hey, Derek's mom has been looking for him. She ran into me at the library when I was waiting to hear where the fuck you guys were. Do you guys know where he is?" And one of them's like, "Don't worry about that, Mike. You got bigger shit to worry about tonight. Are you sure you're ready for this?" And he just nods like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm tired of feeling alone." And I think you see like some of the other kids like just like nodding silently.
Ooh.
That's a big no-no.
Yeah, that's not good. That's a not good situation.
So Sheldon, is there anything pressing here that you want to do with Jonathan before we go to the club?
No, I feel like
Okay.
no. Yeah, he's not about to walk into that situation.
Okay. And so I think the camera like pulls away from this cluster of kids standing in the junkyard to Jonathan Keeley like perched on this crane overlooking all of them. The kind of like thin mist of rain falling around him as the scene fades to black. And it opens up again, and there's literally like a neon sign that's just like drinks, dance, music, club, viral.
I'm afraid.
as like there's like this big digital sign over the front of this establishment with all this kind of like media scrolling down from top to bottom, the perpetual scroll, as it were. You could feel the giant insubstantial thumb just like as Nick and Lyra stand side by side in front of the front door to this place. And I think there's like a cluster of clearly like 15 and 16-year-old kids outside, like talking with each other, like smoking cigarettes. And as the two of you come up, they're like, you hear one of them like, put that away, put that away.
You got another one?
Huh?
You got another one?
Another what? Cigarette? And I think like one of the dudes like walks out of the crew like, yeah. He like gives you a big smile like, haven't seen you around here before. And I think he does this thing where like he takes the pack of cigarettes out of his pocket, and I think he tries to like shuffle it so one like just comes out of the pack a little bit, and like 6 cigarettes come like shooting out of the end of the pack and like land in the puddle, and he like looks down like and just
That
takes one
happens to me
out
all the
and like
time.
hands it to you like yeah, it doesn't matter. I got a lot of money.
Whatever.
I could buy as many as I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're fine. It's cool. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually looking for a buddy of mine, Derek. Seen him anywhere?
I think he shrugs and is like, I don't know any Derek, but why don't you forget about him and let me introduce myself?
Oh my god. Lyra has like the most like unamused like look on her face where she's like, oh, okay, what's your name?
Me?
Yeah.
When he says it, also Nick just goes, "Oh, buddy."
You know it's bad if Nick knows it's bad.
I think he's like, just like, my name's Johnny.
Johnny, hey, I have a friend named John. Johnny. Great. So you don't know my friend Derek. Michael. No, my friend Michael.
Are they dressed similar to Michael and Derek, or are they just
A couple of them are, like, not all of them. They're not on like a uniform, right? Of like, we are goth emo kids, but like a handful of them are. I think like including or not including Johnny of this other group, and I think that you see a few of the like the goth kind of emo looking kids. These darker kids are just like. They're like sneering openly at this whole interaction, and they turn to like head back inside. But some of the other kids seem much more like you. They're dressed much more like you would have been an hour ago, Nick. In like more kind of like contemporary clothes or whatever that are not so dark and heavy, right? And so I think a few of them like walk over to him, and he's like, I think he's looking at you, Lyra, like, I mean, I know a lot of Michaels, Mikes, Mikeys. I mean, it's a pretty common name. And I think that a few of them walk up behind them and they're like, we're going in. We'll see you inside.
Okay.
And they
Bye.
like walk over, and the bouncer just kind of like opens the rope, and these kids kind of head in. And so Johnny's like standing there with you, like,
You gonna go with your friends?
I mean, that all depends.
I'm looking for my friends, so I'll like see you in there probably.
Right. All right. Well, and he turns and
That
like
was
he's
a
walking
good
away.
A+ for everybody.
Nick gives him like a shoulder
Thanks.
pat, and then just walks in.
And I think you hear him like, "Hey, wait up, wait up!" And like his friends are like, "Friggin' dork," you know. They all kind of head inside.
He's going places.
One day, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Hey, so do you wanna divide and conquer here? you want to
That's
tackle like the pop culture kids and I'll tackle the goth kids?
Seems like the best approach.
Great.
Play to our strengths.
Yeah. This will be fun.
So yeah, we're gonna do the split of Lyra's gonna go talk towards the more gothy ones, and I'm gonna talk to the nerdy
So-
crew.
You guys like walk up to the bouncer and he just kind of like looks you over and nods, like steps out of the way. You head in the door, and there's this real like heavy kind of music like thudding along. It's not like high tempo dance music. It's much more like moody, brooding, heavy, you know. And we see like a bunch of kids out on like the dance floor dancing. It's not all teenagers. There are like mostly like mid 20-year-old people in here, right? Like you two are like, oh, okay. But it's clear that there's a contingent of like maybe 30 high school kids. These like real wispy little like, you know, kind of goatees and mustaches. There's a lot of like, you know, young people in here, and there's clearly like this one contingent of them like in all dark. None of them are like dancing. They're all leaned up against the wall in like a cluster kind of on the far side of the place, the bar, the dance floor, the music in here. There's a bunch of like black lights, or the lighting rather. There's a bunch of like black lights over like some booths that are around the edge of the place, and a DJ over in like the DJ booth, right?
Okay.
Oh, this place looks.
Interesting.
It just
There
trails
is-
off. Doesn't even finish the sentence.
There is also like a whole wall of televisions over the bar itself that again are all like broadcasting these ridiculous like feeds. It's like Twitter feeds from you know, Mariana Grande or whatever, and you know what I mean. I should have said Mariana Venti. That was not fast
Yeah.
enough of me there.
That's really great.
There's like a bunch of stuff like this happening, and then there's like videos going of like the kind of 4 separate screens of like multiple videos and all these kind of feeds of like these people, like yeah, this stuff happening. Yeah.
I get it. Club viral. Oh boy.
This is I'm mildly overwhelmed and uncomfortable. So let's get this over with.
Yeah, for sure. As they if they split apart, Nick is looking at the feeds going on and slightly embarrassed that a few of them he does in fact follow.
Oh yeah. You definitely see a trailer for Captain Marvel XV or XIVX, you know, like whatever, and you're like, oh my god, amazing, yeah. Okay, so Lyra, you're gonna like make a beeline for this pack of like
Oh,
creepy kids in the
yeah.
back.
Well,
Okay.
not like an obvious beeline. 'Cause
Yeah,
she
yeah,
has
yeah,
to be
yeah,
like
yeah.
cool about it.
A very dark and meandering beeline.
Yeah.
Dark and meandering beeline.
It's like a dark and meandering Z line, probably.
It's
right?
a family circus style direction. Just eventually, but it's kind of roundabout.
God.
So Lyra, as you come walking up, I think you see a few of these kids like eyeing you, and like one of them's like, "What do you need?"
I don't know. Everybody else kind of. I'm not really a dancer. I'm not really a sit at the bar type person, so figured I'd, you know.
Music in this place could be better.
Yeah. That's an understatement. I don't know like how many I don't know how often you guys are here, but I was actually looking for a buddy of mine, Derek. Blue Mohawk.
I think this is a convince roll.
Okay. Okay, oh boy. Convince roll.
I think they kind of look around at each other a little bit and they're like,
Okay. See, this is where my personality would have come in handy.
Indeed.
That one that broke. Okay. So is it dark in here?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Very dark.
Gosh. Really don't have a lot for this. I really
I'm looking
don't.
at it. I know.
I don't know if like sees that which is hidden would help me at all.
I'll give you that. Sure.
Um, detect thoughts. I think she would leap to that.
I think it's like
Probably.
one of the two of these, right? Like detect thoughts actually feels more relevant
Yeah.
here, as you can
Yeah.
like touch their surface thoughts and whatever, because
Yeah.
you're not making it investigate the like more that I'm thinking about it. You're not like interrogating them. You're trying to win them over, right? Yeah.
So I'll do detect thoughts and not sees that which is hidden, but I will do sensory overload. She's
Okay.
100% like overwhelmed with all these like screens, and she's already like she's not really on social media to just be like in a club that is specifically
Drowned by
all
social
of that.
media.
Like
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
just
yeah,
too
yeah,
much
yeah.
like thought happening.
So you're rolling with 2 power tags, 1 weakness. So with the +1 of total power of 1, you're going to make a convince roll against this group.
Oh boy, okay. Oh no.
Ooh, that's a big fat
That's
miss.
a big
Yeah.
not good. Oh dear.
Uh-oh.
Okay,
Oh.
got it. Before I do anything, Nick, what are you doing here?
Ooh. Oh.
Yeah, so Nick is not gonna be, aloof making his
Mhm.
way there. He definitely sees people wearing stuff he's familiar with and will move his way over there.
I think there's a whole cluster of what looks like younger kids, like sitting over kind of like at the corner of the bar, even. And they're all kind of poring over their phones and like pointing at the TV and then looking down at their phones and like talking animately. There's like much more energy in this kind of group, right? As they're like, getting hype about stuff.
Yeah. So Nick's gonna go over and be like, the new trailer, right? It's crazy, as he's like looking up at the screen.
One of them's like, "Oh yeah, it's freaking unbelievable."
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, and it's since it's 2080, who knows what plans Marvel has by that point? But I can't believe that after launching Avengers and Defenders, that Marvel's going to be launching now a whole new line of Revengers based off Thor Ragnarok from like 60 years ago. It's crazy.
Yeah.
To pull it out.
That's crazy. I love those old movies. That Thor Ragnarok is a fucking classic, dude. Hell yeah.
What are you guys doing here anyway? Like, you guys come here often?
I think one of them's like stops. Like I think a few of them like look up from their phone at the same time. You know what I mean? It's that like record scratch of them being like,
Not like that. Not. Come on.
and then they all like kind of like chuckle, like, "Oh, you're doing like the thing, like the old movies." That's fucking hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. This place is great.
Yeah, this is my first time here. I heard about it from some people. Thought I'd come by. I didn't realize that it was, I guess, mixed, adult and.
I think one of them's like,
Oh.
dude.
As I like,
Yo.
got it. On the down low. That's crazy. How'd you hear about this then?
And I think that one of them is like, I mean, like, you're not a cop or anything, right, dude? You're not gonna like throw us out.
I can promise you with 100% certainty, I am definitely not a cop.
They have to tell you if you ask.
Yeah, cops are like vampires. They have to tell you, and they can't come in unless invited.
Is that true? I think like a few of them are like, "Oh shit, look it up on Google," and they start like typing real quickly. And then I think one of them is just like, "Yeah, I mean like," and I think they gesture towards the other side of the room where like Lyra is with this crew of like emo kids, and they're like, "A bunch of these fucking losers from our school started like hanging out down here, but we figured like, yo, if those fucking dicks could get in, like we're definitely be able to get in. And so like, party, you know what I'm saying? Yes, get the libations going."
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I love going to places, not like
With
this specifically,
libations.
but
Yeah,
libations
adult
for sure.
beverages.
Shots.
Oh, dude, this guy's super fucking cool.
This is gonna be disastrous later.
Come watch Kings of Neon, where we negotiate phones away from the homeless, burn out old men's memories,
And
and
give
give
a bunch
alcohol
of
to
shots to kids.
minors. Yeah.
I love it. Oh my
Those
God.
other kids that had come here, there's some we ran into outside. Seemed a little more darker, I guess is the way to put it.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing, man. It's creepy. I think they're like a cult.
Cult.
I mean, it's a strong word, but they're fucking weird, man.
They go to your school?
Yeah, yeah. It's that guy, and they all point as you like turn and look, and you see Taylor standing there, and this man has walked up behind Lyra. I'm sorry, it's not Taylor, it's Lyra.
Oh no.
Brain fart. I haven't like DM'd this game in 2 weeks now. I'm getting all lame. So I think you see Lyra like standing there with like the short like pixie bob, this crew of kind of dark emo kids in front of her, and behind her is standing this Asian man. He's very kind of petite and small. He's probably about her height, but you could see like from his build, like he's an athletic looking individual. His head is like buzzed, clean, bald, right? He has like a couple of silver earrings in one ear, and I think he's wearing like a black t-shirt that's kind of like tight and like these black pants with a pair of boots. And I think you hear from behind you, Lyra, as you disastrously fail this convince roll. And I'm going to complicate things. I think you hear this question from behind, like, well, good evening. You looking for Derek? I know where he is.
Yeah? Who
Yeah.
are you?
Victor. Chang.
Great.
You don't know him from school. You look a little old.
I mean, I kind of know him from school, I guess. I know that he's been missing from school.
Well, I think now he's like looking at you. Why are you looking for him then? Are you worried?
Yeah. Say his
You don't
mom
need
is
to be.
too.
Oh, you're here for his mom.
No, I overheard her. She's like everywhere in the city looking for him.
I think he like turns and is like, oh, well, she's not here now.
You're right. I happened to go to the library that Derek apparently went to. His mom showed up there. You know where he is?
Yeah. Why don't you come with us and I'll show you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on.
Okay. Okay.
And I think you're like seeing now as like Kevin from Nick's perspective at the bar. He's like standing with these other kids, and I think you hear the kids like, that fucking guy is so creepy. Like, what's his deal, man? Why is he so into high school kids? Not that we're high school kids, but
Yeah, you're a lot more older, clearly more mature. Who is he? You said that's the guy. Is this the one that's like,
I
if
don't
they're
know
a
who
cult,
he
that's the
is.
cult leader?
I don't know
That's
who
your
he
Jim
is.
Jones?
But he's always like hanging around here, and that whole crew, they all like get together here every night, and then they all leave together, and it's like, it's shady, man. It's shady. It seems creepy. And it's at this point, Nick, that you see like quietly this mass of probably about 15 kids that are in the back have like surrounded Lyra, you know, like you could just see her head like peeking out, and like she's with this Asian fellow who's walking towards the back of the club now and has opened the exit door to the back. You know, we see the neon light like kind of streaming in from outside, the rain and the headlights of a car. Yeah.
Nick is just like, this has been great. Thanks for the info. Just remember, don't overdo it. Drink water afterwards. Do like a glass of water each shot. You'll be fine. You can keep going for a little while longer after that. I
Oh,
gotta see you
dude, are
later.
you not even gonna stay for your shot? Come on, man, come on. The bartender is like putting the glasses down at this point, and they're like, and then I think you hear one of them whisper like, "Fuck it, dude, I'll drink his." All right, later, bud.
When he hears that, Nick just grabs like two of them in his hand and just downs both of them. And just spaces out.
And I think there's like a moment you hear this like dull roar from behind you, Lyra. It's like these kids are all clapping and like, yeah, baller, baller, baller. They're all starting to like pound at the thing, you know? Like, that dude's fucking badass. You saw that?
And with that happening, Nick is gonna like turn back around and be like, "Yeah," and doing that, and then like going backwards, and then like bumps into Riz, like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry about that." As he bumps into the group that Lyra's with.
Oh, they like don't say shit. They like turn and push you away from them a little bit, like back up. I guess they do say shit.
Hey, no need to do that. That seems rather aggressive.
Yeah? Well, you ain't seen shit yet. You want to see aggressive? Keep coming.
Nick takes a step forward.
If Lyra is like, can she like make eye contact with Nick at all?
I think, yeah, you like hear Nick's voice, and I think that Victor Chang at this point has put a hand on your shoulder. And it's
Great.
like, don't we want to go see your friend?
Yeah,
don't
we
worry
do.
about that.
Oh no, not worried. Lyra like makes eye contact with Nick and like tries to give like the face that says, "I've got this." Like, follow me. Like, not like trying to like calm down the situation.
And so I think at this point, like 4 of the kids from the back have like turned and like step around, like the one who was talking to you, Nick, and they're just like, I think you see them like adjusting rings on their fingers and stuff, and like looking at you a little bit, like, oh, did we get to fuck up an old man tonight?
Oh, and so Nick, after seeing Lyra's look, like after he took a step forward, like wobbles backwards to make it look like he's actually just unstable. It's like, oh, what? I'm not that old. I'm only 20. I forget at the moment.
And they're just like, well, just stay out of our way. Mind your business. And at this point, like Lyra, like Victor Chang is escorting you out the back door.
Yeah.
So you go.
Yeah.
Okay. You step out into the rain and start walking, and there's a couple of cars there like running, and I think he like walks over to one of them and opens the back door and just like gestures in. It's kind of like a Lincoln Town car type deal.
Yeah. Gosh,
so,
you guys really know how to do this, huh?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess so. You mean drive?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I'm talking about.
And so he like gets you you like slip into the car
Yeah.
as he sits in next to you, and the door opens from the other side, right? And one of these kids hops in and one gets in the front, and you see like behind is like a Suburban, like an old banged up kind of white Suburban, and a bunch of these kids kind of pile into that.
Yeah.
And I think Nick, like you're like standing in the club, and like these last 4 are just standing there and just like gosh, drunks, and they like turn and start like heading out the back door, right?
Oh,
And
hey,
one
is
of
that
them,
the VIP room? As Nick tries to continue back there.
yeah, it's the VIP room.
Oh,
And
cool.
I think that like the one who has been like talking to you goes to like slam the door closed while you're like standing at it. So this is like a moment. If you want to like try to be outside, you have to probably do a thing.
Oh, I definitely will do a thing.
Okay.
The door
Okay.
and just be like, try to like stop it immediately to be like, oh, that's awesome. I want to check it out. Obviously going toe to toe, I guess it would be.
I
Right?
think you are going toe to toe. Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
And I think that this guy is just like, God, stay inside, you drunk asshole. And he's like trying to like slam the door closed on you.
Let's see what I can do here. This is going to be tougher because I don't have a ton of stuff anymore. Huh. See. Hmm. I'm gonna use the warrior instinct to try and like grab the door. Is
Yep.
definitely like my God, I'm not being able to say the right word that starts with an R. It's a reaction, but reflexes. Reflexes.
Oh,
is the word.
reflex. Yeah.
Oh man, there's always the anything can be a weapon, including myself. But I don't know how far you want to go with that.
I mean, you tell me. Like anything can be a weapon, including this door. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I could use the door to like hit it also to cause it
Mhm.
to like bump back into him.
Mhm.
Cool. And yeah, absolute focus is burned right now. So let's see. Um. Oh man,
You don't have a lot. It's
I
tough.
don't. I'm trying to figure out what could work here. I think even though I'm acting drunk, this is clearly a duress situation.
Yep. You are under duress. Yep. I'm inclined, you tell me if you think this doesn't feel appropriate, to potentially hit you with wanton destruction, your weakness tag, though, given that, like, you're using your warrior instincts to, like, grab a hold of the door, like, it might
Yeah,
not work the way you want, right? Yeah.
correct. Like if I'm
Yeah.
not like I'm obviously off
Okay.
kilter. I
Yep.
could do something very bad.
Mhm.
So I will add that. 'Cause that
Okay, so you got a power 3, a weakness of 1. I don't know if we have anything else.
No. I'm trying to think if any of the social stuff works, but not in this particular thing. If anything, I'm going against a lot of it. Um, yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, no, I don't think any of my help or hurt tags can help here from Lyra because she is elsewhere.
yeah, she would have to help. But okay, so you're rolling with the total +2
Oh,
to go
wait,
toe
what
to
am I
toe.
using here? Hang on a second.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
no.
yeah, you have a couple of your advancements that are important. Yep.
Yeah, but they don't work, not the ones that I have, unfortunately.
Yep.
Because I'm
True.
not using immigrants or cliche. I'm using the doctor in training, and so
Yep.
diagnosed a problem doesn't necessarily work here. Okay, this is gonna go. Oh, oh man, how bad do I want to f myself up? Because I'm technically out on a limb, aren't I?
Yes, you are out on a limb. Yeah.
Oh,
You have
Wait,
a
so that's
status of -2, so it's basically a straight roll.
awesome. I love
Because
making
you're
it.
literally now, Lyra has told you, I got this. Just follow me. And you're like, like,
Yeah.
they're literally like shutting a door in your face to separate you from your people. And you're like, I'm so alone.
my goodness.
You know, like you realize all these kids eating up the pop culture at the bar behind you. You don't belong with them, you know? Like, yeah.
I don't fit in anywhere.
Oh.
This is my nightmare.
There's real poignancy to this moment. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Zed's like, yes, this is my nightmare. This whole environment is my nightmare.
All right. I'm gonna go for it, which is power, like full power of 0. So
I know, brutal. I'm
Come
sorry.
on.
I love it.
Big
No!
miss. Oh,
Oh,
that's
no.
a
We're
miss.
so screwed. Oh my
Oh, no.
gosh.
That's a miss. Okay, so as you miss, I'm going to. Yeah, I mean, I'm very much going to deny you something you want, which is for the door to open and you to like get outside and see where Lyra is going and what is happening. But in fact, what happens is you grab the door to like pull it open. Your warrior instincts, your weapon, like the door is a weapon, you are a weapon. This kid is like trying to like pull it closed from outside, and it doesn't really have a great handle. And I think he's like, fuck, man, let go of the fucking door. And you like just yank on it a little bit, and like you don't realize that you are like in fact the goddess of destruction. And I think the top hinges rip off the door. The whole door is like and an alarm goes off inside the building as the door like falls sideways, jamming itself into the thing. So you could still see the kid outside, and he takes a step back like, holy fucking shit, man, what are you, fucking crazy? And like he turns and like jogs over to the Suburban where he like jumps in, and you hear like,
Can I see the license plate?
Good question. I think you would have to make a roll to see the license plate. I'm not like forcing you to make that roll because there's risk there, so it's up to you.
What? That we investigate, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. I don't have a lot that could help there, so
No.
This is going well.
Yeah, I won't make that roll because it would
Okay.
end badly.
Okay, and I think as the alarm is going off, we hear voices from behind, like, "What's going on back there?"
Shoddy construction.
And you see the like brake lights kind of
As
trailing away
he's
in the
just
back. Yeah, you were not able to get out the front door. Lyra, you're in the back seat of the car with Victor Chang and these teenagers driving away. There's a Suburban right behind you. The lights like bearing down in the like back cabin of the car. Escher, what are you doing as all this is going on? Oh, muted.
I guess I'm heading from the library to the junkyard because last we saw me, that's where I was.
Okay, so I think that like the scene opens on you like heading down the street as you're like right outside the fence to the junkyard. Yeah.
What's Jonathan doing?
Yeah, I imagine I probably, if he knew that you were coming, would try to like meet you right out front. Would have tried to like sneak out. I don't think he wanted to.
Okay.
Like he got the information that he needed from the kids.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So I think as you're like walking down the street, like Jonathan like steps out of like the shadows of the fence, and like you see Escher coming, the two of you like reuniting just on the outside fence, like the junkyard's right on the other side. The entrance is like a little ways down the road, right? But yeah.
Hey, did you learn anything? Any sciencey stuff?
Just that they like do sciencey stuff. They've got something on their website about like an educational program, but they're definitely not being upfront about the testing kids' blood or whatever it is that they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the kids, they're all in there right now. I mean, I don't know all of them, but there's a bunch of kids in there, including the kid from the library, and he was definitely lying. Like, he's been talking to that kid recently. The guy that he said Derek hasn't been a friend of his for a long time. But they're keeping information from him too. Like, some of these kids know more than the others. You're right though. They're testing more than just blood. I think there's something dark happening.
Well, what are the kids doing in the junkyard?
I feel like it's like either a safe meeting place for them, or somehow like maybe it's like an entrance. I don't know. Like it's a weird place in there, man.
I think as the two of you are like talking about this down the street, like half a block down the street where the entrance is, you see it's a small black like sports car pull up and like stop, and somebody like gets out, like a figure gets out and kind of pulls the hood of their raincoat a little tighter over them as they walk up to the gate, and you see them like fumbling with some keys, and you hear the like the rattling of like the gate being opened as it kind of reverberates off the fence next to you, right? And they get back in the car and are like drive into the junkyard.
Hell.
What do you think that's about? Were they expecting someone?
I mean, they were all kids on foot. I didn't see any other vehicles, so like this driving in feels like Maybe, yeah. You want to follow?
I feel like you do.
I kind of do.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
What else do we do at night?
Okay. I mean, I'm here. So I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, let's head back in and follow at a distance, I guess.
Okay. So what are the pair are you going to do? How do you head back in? I guess is my question.
I mean, I guess we want to get in before that gate closes.
Okay.
Try and
And
follow the car.
And then stick together, probably not split up or anything. I feel like Jonathan could show Escher the way since he's been in there a little bit. That
Okay.
Yeah.
you could kind of sneak around, hopefully a little.
So the pair of you like walk together down the street for like this half a block, and you see the gate is still open after this car is drove in. It's still like sitting open, and you're easily able to kind of head in. There doesn't seem like there's anybody here monitoring this gate or whatever. So the pair of you come in, and Jonathan, as you start leading Escher quietly towards the front, like you're ducking in between these stacks of like crushed, ruined cars and broken equipment. And I think as the pair of you are up next to this old like city bus moving through it, you see the like flash of kind of lights into the entrance as first one car and then a second like drives in, and they're out of like your line of sight, though you can hear distinctly two cars. And then a car door opens and you hear the gate rattle closed, and then the car door closes and like they like kind of drive off, and you get the impression, Jonathan, like these other two cars are driving towards where the kids were. So I think it's like at this moment that we smash to Lyra, like sitting in the back of the car with Victor, and it's a short ride from Club Viral, right? And he's just like, so Derek's mom came to a library, you said, looking for him, and she's worried?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, or that's what happened.
Maybe. I mean, we're all being mysterious here, so I think I'm just fitting in with the theme. You know, I'm gotta get into a car. You don't tell me where we're going. It's all pretty mysterious. A little creepy, too.
It's not mysterious and creepy that you're looking for a missing minor. Do you have any kind of documentation? Are you anybody that should be looking for this kid?
I don't need to justify anything to you.
Oh, good, because I definitely don't need to justify anything with you. Has
Perfect.
anybody ever told you not to get into a car with strangers before? I mean, I
Yeah, I
thought...
usually don't, but I also can take care of myself.
If anything, most of us usually do.
Oh, you can. That's good to know. I thought maybe you might be one of us, but I don't think so anymore.
No? One of you? What do you mean, like, you know, cool goth kids that, like, don't run with the regular crowd?
No.
No?
Nope, that's not what I meant.
Do you mean, like, weird superpowers?
I mean, that's closer.
Yeah. I figured.
Daniel? Lucy? And I think that you see, like, the girl who's sitting in the front seat turns, looking back around at you. Like, she's got her head stuck between the driver and passenger seat. And the kid next to you just turns and looks at you. And there's this moment here, Lyra, where, like, the car slows down a little bit as you drive through the gates. And you see this junkyard, like, kind of out through the front window, past the silhouette of, like, this girl looking back at you from the front seat. And she's just like... like sniffs a little bit, and she turns and looks up at you, and you see this kind of green glow in her eyes, and the guy next to you is just like and like suddenly, like, all three of these people
Oh, God.
The driver, you just kind of see it rising up like past the rest of the seat. And from the girl in front of you, you see this almost like vapor as like this green kind of like mist begins to just like kind of like emanate off of them. And then from the kid next to you, and Victor turns and looks at you like, you're not one of us, but that doesn't mean we can't do what we need. And I'm going to need you to roll to face danger as they
Okay.
are trying to infect you.
Oh, this is great. Okay.
It's
All right.
really
Um,
bad. What is happening?
this is wonderful. Okay. So it's dark out, right?
Around like all of, I just want to clarify,
Yes.
around all three of these kids, not Victor, but like
Not
the other
Victor.
three, the driver, passenger seat, and like to your right, there's like this almost like spectral kind of aura that's like now radiating off of them. It's not actually like gas or vapor. It feels more like almost like very familiar in that it's like wraith-like, spiritual almost, right? There's like it's almost like ectoplasm, but not that either, right?
Yeah.
But there's this whole kind of like green vapory thing almost superimposed around them, right?
Yeah. Okay. It's dark, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Using that for
that's
sure.
helpful.
Gosh. Impenetrable mind.
Unfortunately, your mind is irrelevant to this. This is about you fit. Well, you know what? I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah. That's actually very relevant.
Gosh. I just don't know if in this moment she wants to try and run. Probably. Yeah, I think that in response, she attempts to go incorporeal and to like fall out of the car. Like
Oh,
the
you want to
bottom
do
of the
some
car.
Matrix Reloaded vampire
Yes.
shit. And so it comes back to the vampires as we knew it would. Okay, got it. So or incorporeal, impenetrable
Yes.
mind, darkness.
Yeah, and I don't know if in this situation nimble because she's trying to get out of the way, but that's sort of like the incorporeal.
I think it doesn't matter. The idea is like
Yeah.
it's like a viral kind of thing that like you can't just get away from it by your physicality, right? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like that's probably it.
Okay. I'm feeling good about that. Let's do it.
Okay. Face danger.
You're making a face danger roll with the power of 3 as I am using a GM move here to hit you with the
Yes.
status.
Oh.
Oh, you are lucky. Okay, so
Okay.
you go like wraith-like and kind of like incorporate and like vanish out of the car. As you see while you're like kind of like pulling a bit away from the car. First of all, you feel like this aura of power radiating off of Victor. You see like this green, almost like kind of like superimposed like gas kind of literally now it's like emerging out of the windows of the car. And as you go wraith like, I think that the Suburban behind you passes through you, and you see all like 8 kids that are in this other car are like just like this aura of like this green. And as you kind of like fade through the car with them, you realize like they're all connected, you know what I mean? This like aura is like connecting all of them into like this almost like super organism,
Yep.
as it were. Meanwhile, Nick.
And
Hi.
I instantly was like, this is like some like illithid shit happening right now. Oh,
Ooh. Nick, you are in the club as like the alarm's going off, and I think that like some like the music stops and the lights turn on, and you hear on like the PA system, everything's all right, everything's all right. There's no need to evacuate. There's no emergencies. We'll take care of that alarm in a minute. And a couple of like big bouncer type dudes are like walking up to you with what looks like a manager or something, and they're like, "What happened back here?"
I was trying to exit the door, and all I did was like push the exit. Door comes off. What kind of structural problems does this building have?
And I think we see this like woman. She's got like kind of spiky hair, and she's like just looking at you, and she's like, "No, no, he's drunk. Get him out of here. You got to go."
Yeah. All right. I'll leave. That's fine.
These fucking kids. And she's like walking back, like looking at the back thing, taking a phone out, making a call. As the two bouncers like, "You're not gonna give us any problems here, buddy, right? Come on."
Nope. Just trying to leave.
Yep, that's great. We're gonna help you right out here, just this way. And then I think like walk you to the front door and just kind of let you out the front.
Oh, this is a great club. Good guys, really had a good time.
Yep,
Cool.
great. Probably don't come back though anytime soon.
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Have a good one, buddy.
And as he leaves, he he remembers Jonathan mentioning Junkyard, so that's probably where he tried to go next. But on his way, he's going to once again text Perez and say, "Who owns Club Viral?"
Great question, and I think there's just no response for a minute here. Like Perez is not like doesn't respond to you quickly, but you send the text. Got it.
Wait, no, different option. I think I have someone else's number that I forgot was given to me.
You do.
I don't text Perez. I text Archie.
Oh shit.
Okay.
He would know who owns clubs. He owns ones himself.
Indeed he would. Yeah, you get a text back like 2 or 3 minutes later from Archibald, like, and it's like a whole bunch of bullshit formality. "So glad to hear from you, Nick. It's been too long. We should get dinner. How's your dad, by the way? I've been worried about him. Did you get that fruit basket I sent? Club Viral. It's owned by siblings, the Chang siblings, Victor and Veronica."
Oh boy.
What a familiarity here.
Oh dear.
Appreciate the info.
And then I think it like follows up like, "I think that she's just on the paperwork, and it's his establishment from everything I've read." All right, fellow. Little cold. Thinks too much of himself.
If you're looking to eliminate some competition, they let in underage kids there. Send.
I think he sends you back like the emoji of like,
Oh my god.
I think he
God.
sends you one of those back. And then like one more reply of like, "Thank you very much for that, Nicholas."
You gave me info. I just gave you some. I feel like that evens us out for now. Send. Send message.
But still, don't hesitate to call if you need anything.
I don't respond to that one.
Yeah. he just like has to have the last word. So, yep. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna head towards the junkyard.
Okay. And so Nick like striding with purpose towards
Ooh.
the junkyard as we smash. Yes.
I don't know how this would work, but it's probably gonna take me a little while to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I want to prepare for my next activity.
That's doable. Is there a montage? Is this a montage? Is that what's happening?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay.
Um, Knowing I'm gonna have a fight on my hand and seeing that there's a problem, I want to pick up equipment to help.
What?
Um,
What do you grab on your way, right? Like there's a multitude of ways you might do that. What is it, I
right.
guess?
Let's see. Where can I find one of these? Would Nick own this? Yeah. So he goes back to his place and gets one of those like expandable metal sticks that people usually keep to carry
The
for
baton?
protection.
Yeah.
Yeah, the expandable
Got it.
batons.
Hmm.
Because he lives in a nice apartment, but he's constantly concerned, like my sister is, even though she lives in a nice area, about people breaking in. So she has stuff
Hmm.
that So he has one of those, and so he grabs one of those, and um, and and a kitchen knife, one of the smaller
Well,
ones, like paring knife.
Are we planning on murdering high schoolers?
No,
if we have to. Okay, so
not
Nick
the
with the
high schoolers I'm
baton.
worried about. It's the twin
Nick with
owners
the
of clubs in which
baton.
we have had experience. And the last time I tried to confront one, he burnt my hand like he was the sun. So I'm taking precautions.
Nick goes home and gets his hand on a baton and a knife as we cut back to the junkyard itself, where we
Also, though,
see,
but since I did that for a
yeah.
purpose, this means I can recover my burnt tags, right? Because it says
Wait, if we're doing a whole montage scene, like we could, but then everybody gets a beat here,
oh,
right?
okay.
So like we could do that. And the thing is, I think it's either you prepare for your next thing or you can recover your bird tag. Is that right?
Oh, because it's yeah. When it says prepare for an activity, tell everyone on the table how you prepared. Choose one, recover all your burnt power tags. I didn't know you could just do that separately.
Mm-hmm. I'm just
Yeah,
looking
I was
real
just trying to figure out a
quickly.
way how to get back my power tag because having a burnt one is painful.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like, I don't know. We could have just like given it back to you given the time. But I will say that like I don't think you're able to recover it right here in this beat. Is that fair? I think
That's
like
fair.
you're
At
able
least
to
I
like
have weapons. That's
okay.
something.
Yeah, you get to come correct with like a weapon. You've got a story tag now of like the baton and the knife
Cool.
that you're bringing to the viral fight. Meanwhile, we like cut back to Escher and Jonathan as you guys are like standing kind of behind this bus and like peering at these cars coming in. And so the black sports coupe stops in front of these kids, and you see this woman get out. She looks like an older Asian woman. She has this like this black hair like kind of cascading down around her face, and she's wearing like a black leather jacket, black pants, right, boots. And as she gets out, you could see the kids all starting to kind of like fawn around her and come closer. And then like it's not long before you hear the second cars driving in, and they like kind of pull into the scene in front of you. One, this Lincoln Town car, the other, this big Suburban. And the Suburban opens, these kids start like pouring out of it as the town car opens and these people get out. And as you're looking at them, you see the kids getting out of the cars, as well as the two that you spotted that were kind of like giving the others the what for. They have this like green kind of glowing aura all around them. And as the kids are like getting out of the car, you see it almost like expanding like slowly until it connects with the kids that were in front of them, and then it starts to like expand for them, and all of them slowly start to gather around this woman. And Victor meanwhile though just yells like, we need to get out of here, there's somebody looking for you. And he turns to one of the two kids who's been like standing here in this junkyard waiting the whole time. And he's like, your mother is out stirring up trouble, and there's some girl who came after you. She was just in my car, and she got away from us. And I think that we see the woman like, well, we can't go. We have all these newcomers that are so excited to join us. Come, gather round. And Victor is like, no, we have to go. I'm telling you, they're going to be here. She's here somewhere. If she's not calling the police. And I think you hear the woman like, relax, brother. This won't take but a second.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I mean, when Lyra like incorporealed herself out of the car, she
Mhm.
would like go invisible and then just like chase after the cars like as fast as she could.
Okay. They are cars,
Oh
and you do
yes.
only have 2 feet despite being the one-handed power. So
Yeah,
as you're
100%.
like,
But
as
so
you come like got it. As you come like racing up after it, I think that like Escher and Jonathan rather behind this like bus are kind of like peering up like through the broken windows. Yeah, it's one of these, and I think you just see like this like green kind of thing begins to just like reach out and absorb, and like it touches each one of the other kids, and in the moment it does, I think you see them like close their mind and like arch their backs for a second, and their eyes open, and this green light is just kind of like pouring out, filling around, and this woman Veronica is like standing in the center of them as they all just kind of group around Victor alone like to the edge by the cars, the two of you looking. Nick, you come like striding up to like or I think we probably see you get out of a cab. Wow, that sounded dramatic.
Sorry, I knocked my headphone out. That's why I tried to adjust myself.
It sounded like a pool ball.
yeah.
Like, crack,
It's
Yeah,
crack.
the
And then I was
bounce
like,
off the desk.
I wonder if it was a 20-sided die.
I rolled a 1. I fall
Yeah.
out of the taxi and it.
We see you, Nick, like get out of the taxi, right? Like situating like the baton under your coat. You've got this knife in your pocket, and you walk up to like the gate of this junkyard, which appears to be like closed and locked. And Lyra, meanwhile, you come like racing up invisible just to see this scene, just in time to like see this woman surrounded by this mass. So literally like these now like 15, 20 kids are kind of massed up around her like a literal like human wall, and this whole like aura is kind of like subsuming all of them like this one almost giant cell.
This is in the junkyard. Sorry, Lyra's in the junkyard.
Yeah.
I'm outside the junkyard.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I'm sorry. So you're
No,
still
it's fine.
outside the junkyard. How do you want to get in, Nick? I guess
Um,
that's my only question.
I can't see anything, right?
Not yet. Nope.
What's the fence situation look like?
It's like a chain link fence, metal on the side, barbed wire and stuff.
Barbed wire on the top. Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. Um. That's the way for me to do this. Oh, I'm wearing a coat, right?
Hmm.
Oh, I'm gonna scale the fence and use my coat to throw on top of the barbed wire so I can get over it.
Okay. So the like chains rattle. Nick throws the coat over. You easily like hop the fence, and you like hear the sounds of voices from the distance as you begin to approach. And you can't quite see anything yet, but you like have an idea. The engine's running of like where you're going. So yeah, in this moment, Lyra, like you're charging up. Escher and Jonathan, you're peering like through the bus at like what's happening out here. These kids are all massed around Veronica. Victor is like standing by one of the cars, like muttering to himself, like just peering around, looking for Lyra. Like, we need to get out of here. We need to get out of here.
Lyra is like in guns blazing mode right now. So she's like running in. I think that as she's chasing after the car, she sends a text to Jonathan and Escher. Is like, they tried taking me to the junkyard. I escaped. There's we have to stop this. And like that's it. So she like runs in invisible, and I think she sees who she's assuming is Veronica, and is gonna try and hit her. She's gonna try and hit all of them with Aura of Terrible Power. She's gonna like run in there and just like.
Okay. Escher
These
and
poor high schoolers.
and Escher and Jonathan, as you two are standing behind the bus, what would you guys like to do?
I want to try to help Lyra out a bit.
Okay.
Because I feel like that is the move, somehow like separating them from the
Yeah.
that aura. Um, so then maybe I think Jonathan wants to make like a bit of a distraction so that Lyra has a better shot at like coming in and hitting, so that they don't like see it coming.
Okay, rad. And I think so if you're going to use one of your help points with Lyra, is that
Yeah.
how you want to do this?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Then I think to that end, you guys have the advancement on your crew theme of that you're tight like that.
Right.
And so once per session, when one of you uses a juice point to help or interfere with another crew member, you gain one extra point of juice to do so. So you basically can create a status or a story tag of 2 to like give Lyra to help here. So what is it? What do you do, and like what exactly is the tag?
I think since they already like one of the guys has already like seen me and is talking about me, I feel like I turn back into a moth, and
Yes.
I want to be picking something up over my head, like just something big and heavy, and holding it so that they're just like, oh, it's a monster with like
Got it.
smushed up
Oh,
car or something.
Great, yeah.
Okay, and so what do we want to call the tag? I think you're able to like you turn, look off the end of the bus. And there's a couple like smashed motorcycles there easily, and so like you transform, right? The wings fold out, your eyes turn red. You step out next to the bus and just like grab this motorcycle and lift it up over your head. You know, as all of a sudden you see like one of the like kids in the center that like the kind of green is like thinner than the others, like points, and you hear, and it's this very strange thing where it's like almost like an echo of many voices at once.
Oh, no.
Holy, oh, it's the moth, you know, and they all like turn at once, this big like cellular mass. So is the story tag just like
I feel like it's
monster?
like backup, like for Lyra.
It could be,
like,
but I want to say like monster in the junkyard.
Oh,
Is
yes.
that like a story tag that
so
like
great.
there's like a fucking
Yes.
monster in
Yeah.
the junkyard?
Yes.
They're a
Yeah,
bunch
I
of
like
high
it.
school kids.
Oh, hell
You know?
yeah, that's so good.
They were crying for mom about the creatures under their beds like 6 months ago, you know?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I like that.
100%.
Okay, so there's a story tag 2 of Monster in the Junkyard helping you here. Escher, what would you like to do in this moment? As Jonathan like transforms and grabs a motorcycle, what do you want to do here?
I feel
just
like
watching
I
this
don't like
play
a Goosebumps book.
Escher is just like looking pretty, like staying out of the way of this whole shit show.
I think so.
Okay. Nick, you're like charging it as all of a sudden you hear this like many voices like it's the moth, the moth, the moth, the moth, the moth. This like this synchronized like voices like yelling, and you're like now like hustling towards the back. Lyra, you want to use your aura of terrible power?
So,
Go for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think what she wants to do is like target Veronica with mind fire, like, and release her aura of terrible power to just scare the shit out of all these out of everybody, basically.
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
But yeah.
Do
So,
I see when I'm running? Can I scan the kids to see the one that is Derek? Because you said he's there, but Nick obviously doesn't know that
Okay,
yet.
so as you're like racing up now, here's the scene. You're like running down this like path with like these rows of junk on either side of you, and you could see Lyra like manifesting in front of you, this like darkness kind of gathering around her, and just past her, these 3 cars, Victor off to the right, and past her is like this wall of kids. You can't make out Derek's face out of the group like as you're approaching, because there's literally like these auras, these like viral auras that are manifesting over all of them. And it literally, I think, Nick, to you, of everyone, you're looking at this and you're like, holy fucking shit, it's like a virus. It looks like a fucking virus. Like it's this like just amorphous kind of like living wall of people.
So I just see Lyra preparing to do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
And you can act here.
I'm
you know?
gonna, but this is gonna be
Mhm.
rough. But story-wise, I think it's the only thing that
You
makes
have to.
sense from Nick's perspective.
Mhm.
So as he's running, Nick is going to use a hurt point, if I got it,
Yes.
against Lyra
To do what?
to yell at her to be like, "Don't! They're just kids."
That's gonna hurt.
Wow.
Liz.
Ooh.
Because
I'm not-
he once again, like, his mythos, not liking evil things, and two, just from his perspective, the last he heard at the beginning of the session is that Lyra did like a mind burn on an older man. So like his perspective is sort of like, what if something goes wrong? Also,
This
from his
is
own perspective, he accidentally
amazing.
ripped a door off its hinges moments ago.
Okay, I just want to say that tight like that allows you, when you use your juice
God
point, to help
damn it!
or
Are you
interfere. So you may create either a status on Lyra or a story tag with this juice of 2 that is what? Is it doubt? Are you putting doubt in her?
Yeah, like unsure.
I mean, it's once per session, though, right?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
we can't
true.
both.
Oh,
You're
put
right,
good
Zed.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good
Okay,
call.
thank
Thank you,
you.
Zed. Zed can
Mine is
read
just a
just
regular-
fine.
still
I
just one
cannot.
though?
Mhm.
Mine is just the one, but it's concern for her own power, I guess.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's the status that's on you. You've got +2 to whatever you're doing for the monster in the junkyard, and you have a -1 for a concern, a fear of your own power, right? And what are you rolling with, Lyra?
All right, mind fire.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if impenetrable mind is still helping her here.
I don't think it is, because that's defensive,
Yeah.
right? Yep.
Um.
You just have so many tags at this point, right?
I
That
know.
like, yeah, you have very outward ones and very inward ones.
Yes. She's invisible. She was invisible and corporeal.
Mm-hmm.
Is it dark?
Mm-hmm.
It's dark. Great. Aura of terrible power.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's probably it.
Okay, and I am going to get you with Hothead
Yeah.
because you're running in like a maniac to
Yeah.
just get in the mix of this. And I think I'm also going to hit your crew theme of no clear leadership. As Escher is like, like Iggy, where the fuck even is Iggy? Escher's like, nope. You know, Jonathan's helping. Nick is harming.
Yeah.
Like, this is a mess. You guys are in
The
very
conflict,
different
the
places.
conflict.
This is like as disparate as it's ever been.
Yeah.
So 2 weakness tags. You have a -1 because of Nick's like doubt, fear of your power. You have a +2 for the monster in the junkyard, and then all your tags. What do we got?
Total +4.
Holy shit! You still have +4? Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's terrifying because you're rolling with 1, 2, 3, 4 +2 -2. Yeah, that's impressive. Okay.
And am I doing hit? Is it hit with all you got? Because I'm coming
it's
out of it.
you're going toe to
Going
toe because I think
toe-to-toe.
that they are like jacked up in their viral
Okay.
state.
All right. Gotcha. Man, oh, that changes things a little bit. Because it isn't hit with all you got when they're like not expecting to get hit by anything.
Okay, you ready? I can allow you to attempt to make a series of linked rolls here. If you start with like a sneak around,
Okay.
we could do that.
Sounds good.
And if you succeed at the sneak around, you could try to hit with all you've got.
Okay. So, all right, cool.
We have to restructure. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. So I should still. Am I still getting the +2 from Jonathan because he's just kind of distracting them?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to you. Yeah, he burned juice, so you have +2 from Jonathan and -1 from Nick for both of these. Yep.
Okay. All right. So for this one, we got stealthy.
Yes.
All right. So I gotta choose whether to use.
I know. Yeah.
I will use I will use the invisibility because that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And the incorporealness here.
Okay.
Jeez. Okay, I think.
Okay, that's I think it, right? So you're
Yes.
basically rolling with like a +4 to this.
Yes. I think it subtracts after, I want to say, because I think it's only a +1 because of the pluses and minuses.
Okay.
or something. But okay, so sneak around. Okay.
Great success. Okay, then you can hit with all you've got. Go for
Okay,
it.
great. All right. So darkness, aura of terrible power,
Mm-hmm.
mind fire.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, okay. think I think that's probably about it. Can I hit our like approach from all angles? Because I've kind of got help from Jonathan and like
Yeah,
okay.
sure. Yeah, and because Escher's there, and then we're getting you with Hothead, we're getting you with no clear leadership, and then you've basically just got a +1 from Jonathan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Holy cow, that was a lot of crazy math. So you're rolling with the power of 3. Go for it.
Hit with all you've got. No!
Oh,
no! Oh my gosh. Okay. So what happens though is that the kids do not get hurt because I did hit with all I've got. So the mind fire does only affect, or if it does or does not, but it like I can control the collateral damage when I'm hitting with all I've got.
Okay.
So the kids do not get hurt.
You guys,
Oh my god.
it's 9:15. Lyra unleashes her mind fire, her aura of terrible power. Jonathan Keeley, the Mothman, towers, red eyes glowing, dust falling around him as he holds this motorcycle like a toy above the sky. Escher is watching, as they're wont to do, and Nick Shivdar is running up with weapons like, Lyra, they're just kids, as he enters this doubt in her mind. And I think, my friends, I have to say, I think this is where we leave
we have to.
our story this week.
Oh
Incredible.
my.
There was a
goodness.
point where I was like, we're moving so quickly. You guys are like really getting to the quick of things, like the heart of the matter really quick. And then this got wildly complicated in the last like 15 minutes. And I'm like, oh my God, this is really exciting though. So I'm perfectly happy to like pick up here next week with Kurt and finish our little interlude.
Iggy
you know?
swoops in to save the
Yeah,
day.
really.
Yeah,
Oh my
I mean,
God.
like it's not like he can teleport. So yeah, somebody's just gonna be like, Iggy, what? He's gonna like show up in the chef's outfit with like a carrot in one hand.
Yeah,
like,
someone's
what's
just like, where is Iggy?
He's right behind
This-
you.
He opens the bus door.
Yeah, really, yes. This felt pretty fun, you guys. I don't know if you guys enjoyed this one tonight, but
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
this was a blast.
Oh, so stressful. Oh my gosh.
And it's really neat where it's a villain that I'm like, I have no idea what this is possibly based on. And that's exciting too, where
Yeah.
I'm just like, I have a lot of
Yeah.
way off the wall theories, but who knows?
Yeah.
I've thrown a lot of stuff at you guys that I'm like, this is like a little bit out there. I don't expect you to like know immediately, right? But like it's a touchstone that all of us would know once I say the name, right? Like Mahisha Sura, who the hell's gonna figure that out? But you nailed you nailed the Three Little Pigs pretty quickly. Like, so I've been having fun like putting things out there that you're like, oh, this is that. And I've also now been having fun putting things out there that you're like, what is this? Yeah, because I think that's part of what's neat about this game is there's like a lot of like different kind of levers and dials you get to twist and to pull. But yeah, cool guys. This was a blast getting back to this tonight. I really enjoyed this. I'm so glad to have everyone back. Can't wait to get Kurt for next week. Awesome. I hope that was fun for you guys.
That was
Oh, yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Right. It felt good to get
Um,
back into it.
Yeah.
It did, right? Yeah. Cool. I'm glad it's not just me. So to that end, this is where we geek out to the credits. We still get to geek out to the credits, even though we're right in the middle of like conflict. So the question is, how has the crew grown? Have they?
I think
Feel like the opposite almost.
You don't have to. Each of you get to do your thing, but like that's one of the big questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as we geek out to the credits, why doesn't everybody take their turn? What do you think, Sheldon?
I feel like it's one of those things that Kevin's right. It does feel like there are some rifts growing and fractures, but the way that we all kind of split up feels like that
Mhm.
approach from all angles. I think we each were doing our own thing and divided and conquered. And so I want to get that burnt tag back.
Okay, so you get approach from all angles back as Lyra just burned it in this moment. That was a great technique to burn the power tag moments before the game ends so that you can
Smart.
get it right back. Nicely done. That's Sheldon. Anybody else geeking out to the credits?
I
Man.
I want to say that like in this moment of Lyra like going from like 1 second like feeling like Jonathan is there like and having her back to Nick immediately being like, no, you're doing the wrong thing. I feel like I had to take a hurt point with Nick.
Okay, I think that's fair.
That's very fair.
I think we see now moments where like her points make sense, though. I'm like really glad to see him get used, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And she's like bummed because she thought that they were like, you know, doing this team thing. They went into the club together.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm
yeah.
out on a limb here.
Yes.
That's very
Poor freaking Nick.
Yep.
I'm gonna take a help point with Lyra because she went to the club and I didn't have to.
So she went to the club, so you didn't have to. I love it. So it just leaves you, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how we've grown in a way that would make sense to get back that last power tag.
Well, I mean,
You bonded with Perez
Yeah.
big move. Like if
But
you
is
were
that-
and Archibald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've actually reached out to a lot of our acquaintances.
It's true, but has that helped a group grown?
I mean,
I
I
think
think it's you're taking like leadership charge in a way where there are people that you didn't have direct contact with Perez, and you're stepping forward and going, "I'm doing this for the better of the group."
Mhm.
True.
Yeah, I'll take it so we can get back that tag. Feels helpful.
I think
Group
it's
of
really
disparate
relevant.
people, and a doctor's going to be the leader of the group of disparate people facing dire conflict.
Oh,
I
God.
know a friend
I
of
was a
ours
Jack
who would
Shepherd
love
fan.
this show. Yeah. I think it's really interesting though, because I think that there is
At
this
some
sense
point
that
now, I'm
like,
gonna have to say the line. You know that.
yeah, you are. I think that there's like a really interesting thing that's evolved very organically, where like you don't have a clear leader, right? There is no clear sense of leadership, but I think like a lot of you are very specific and counterculture and like not necessarily suited to the role of being the leader. Whereas like the guy who's like trained in American culture and like a doctor and like all these things, like good under danger, good under duress, pretty like even keeled compared to the rest of you. You know what I mean? Like it is a very natural kind of space for you to fill up, for you to be like, well, okay, this is what we need to do.
Yeah, but now
so
this
I
means
think it's
it's all gonna
interesting.
end on a outcropping on a cliffside with Lyra and I in the rain punching each other. So-
Yes. I mean, did you not like see it going that way anyway? The goddess of war who was created for like to save mankind versus the one ring of power. It's gonna be
It
great.
almost does feel kind of like Thor and Loki a little bit.
It does. Yeah.
Like, and I love the I think that we're making progress as a team, like, and not necessarily like we're growing, like, and it's not even like positive or negative, but like we're like deepening our relationships in different ways. And I
Agreed.
think that's really cool.
Agreed. Yeah, I think it was really fascinating the way you guys split up to take this all apart tonight. I really loved it. Tonight was a really fun session for me. So very, very cool.
Big
Awesome.
question though: how do I get this burnt power tag back?
We will do a montage next week as
Okay.
soon as we're out of this conflict, right? I think however this conflict resolves itself for good or for ill, I promise you we will jump into a montage scene immediately afterwards.
Okay.
So you can recover your power tag.
And sorry, when you burn a power tag on its own, how does that work?
That's a great question. This is a thing none of you have done actively as a choice. So, anytime you make a roll, you may choose to burn one of your power tags. I'll double check the rules and you guys can read it yourself, but I'm pretty sure that it counts as though you have rolled 10
Yeah.
with the power of like 1 or with the power of 3 maybe. I think it's ultimately though it's like an automatic success
Okay.
is the idea. You've rolled a 10, which is the lowest you can roll for like a hard success, right? And then I think it gives you a power of +3. It might, so it would like activate dynamite if that's true. So you're willingly burning out that tag for the rest of the night on like, no, I'm getting this done. I like really need this to work. I don't want this to be a risk, right? I want this juice, these clues, whatever.
Yeah, which I probably should have done when I was,
But this makes it so much more dramatic.
really
It does.
Right.
It's way more dramatic. And it's one of these things where it's
Ugh.
tough because, like, I'm trying to remind you guys about rules. And the further we've gotten away from the beginning, the less I want to seem like I'm like, also, and also, and also. But it's the other thing where I also have forgotten because, like, I don't feel that, like, I need to know all the rules so I can explain all this shit to you guys, you know?
Yeah.
I'm more focused on like what do I need to know to like do the MC moves, to like have the scene intrusions, to understand like the statuses and the spectrums and all the stuff happening with the NPCs. Like my attention has shifted a little bit off of the player related stuff, right? So yeah, like this is one of these things where like I always say it, but you know, role playing games tend to be the deeper you dig, the more rewarding they're going to be. And certainly this game is like that, right? Like, but yeah, you can always burn tags on your own to get big rolls. Really cool, you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, to that end, what's going on with everyone this week? Kevin, what do you have going on? What is this new podcast where you're talking about sparkly vampires?
Yeah, so new podcast that has been launched for patrons of post-show recaps. If you want, you can sign up at patreon.com/post-show recaps at the $5 level, and you get access to this brand new podcast that I'm about to tell you about. But it's Melissa Woodward and I, and you know, of the Mighty Ducks Game Changers, I'm going to say fame. And now we launched a brand new podcast where we are covering young adult fiction, and it's called YA, because Melissa's Canadian. So there's the joke.
Yes.
It's very funny, right?
That's beautiful.
And
It's
to
very beautiful,
kick everything
Taylor.
off, we are covering the Twilight Saga. So Melissa and I are going to be talking about that. We've read the books. I think Melissa has reread a couple at this point. I've read them.
Oh no,
previously.
that poor woman.
Yeah, and we're watching the films. We did the first, just no subtitled, just Twilight, most recently, and we're about to do New Moon, which is great. Because for all the things I dislike about New Moon, there's one thing I specifically love, which is, of course, that I forgot that this is where Michael Sheen shows up for the first time, and it's just the best. So I'm really excited. We're going to be talking about that, so you can check that out. And, of course, there is Everything is Super, the podcast I do with one Josh Wigler, in which we cover all things superheroes. We are currently in the process of covering Loki, and we are heading into the finale of that show this week, but we're doing a twofer in which we are covering both the finale of Loki and Black Widow.
Oh, wow, cool.
Watched. So we'll be discussing that on this week's episode.
Nice.
Rad.
So,
I'm psyched.
Send in any feedback or thoughts, super@postshowrecaps.com. And if you would like to talk to us about YA, send it Kevin at postshowrecaps.com. Yeah,
Awesome.
and that's the two big things I have going on.
They're very good things. Melissa Woodward, our favorite artificer on Dragonfly on Tuesday nights. She's the best. Doc and Waffle going to get their own spin-off show. And tomorrow, our dear friend Melissa Woodward is going to be playing some Dungeons and Dragons with my friends over at Sabotage the DM. So, like, keep an eye on my Twitter for that. I'll retweet the link. I want to say it's at 1 Eastern, like 10 Pacific for you guys. I'll double check
Eastern.
though. Is it? It's 2 Eastern.
Yes, I know
8
because
British.
I was asked to do it.
Yes, you were.
But I
their
can't.
loss next time. 8 p.m. British Standard Time, 2
7.
p.m. Eastern. Yeah, see,
And 11.
I can't. Just go to Ask Zed where to find us, and they will tell you. Anyway, we love Melissa. Taylor, what's going on with you?
I will be streaming Thursday, getting back into Dragon Age. I've taken the past couple weeks off.
Hell yes.
Yes, we'll be back in Dragon Age Thursday. And I want to shout out my mom and her band because if you guys want to check it out, if you like good music, like soulful music, like if you like Allman Brothers or like old rock, they just released their first album, No Pedals, on Spotify, like iTunes. Like, go check them out. The Menza Madison Band, MENZA Madison Band. They just did their like album release party that I went to. And Dustin Hoffman was there, which was crazy.
Wait, you met Dustin Hoffman? You went to a party with Dustin Hoffman? And we didn't talk about that until hour 3.5? What is happening?
I know. My mom met Dustin Hoffman. He was like totally chilling, and I didn't want to bother him. He stayed the entire show.
Wow.
Went up to my mom at the end and told her that she was a great artist and like gave her a hug. And it was like crazy. It was so crazy. But yeah,
cool.
go like check them out. The Menza Madison Band, No Pedals. I'm super proud of her. And yeah, that's my
Get hype.
Yeah.
Awesome. Watch Taylor stream Dragon Age. The link is here because that is the best. What about you, Sheldon? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, one thing right now, speaking of the post-show recaps patron Discord, I am currently in a play-by-post adventures that is fantastic. It's going really great. The DMs are doing really cool things, adding music in so that we can like listen while scenes are happening. It's so much fun. I'm loving that. Also, my wife and I do a podcast called The Anglo Files, where we watch British TV and movies. And our latest episode is on the British murder mystery Gosford Park.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it is brilliant. I loved it. It's like the precursor to like what gave us Downton Abbey, and is very.
I remember it from like years ago. Yeah.
I think it's like 2001 is when it came out, or 2003, somewhere along there.
Maggie Smith is in it.
It has
Is that
7
right?
sirs and dames. Like,
Oh, wow.
it has so many people. And if you guys are watching Loki right now and have seen why can't
Richard
I remember
Grant?
Richard? Yeah, Richard
Yeah.
Grant is
Yeah.
also
Richard
in
Grant.
Gosford Park.
So good.
That's got to be his most amazing friggin' role ever. That old Loki. Come on, no
So
spoilers, but like,
awesome.
So
what is
good.
happening there?
Oh
Yeah.
my god, it was so good.
Awesome.
And my last thing, next Saturday, I know some people in the Discord really love the show Taskmaster, and next Saturday is when my live show is going to be. It's
Yes!
going to be all like live streamed, so I'll make sure to tweet out a link.
Yeah,
but
get
I
those
believe,
links out.
I think it's going to be at 11 a.m. Pacific time, and then it'll last for like a couple hours.
Sweet.
Awesome. The links are all at the bottom of the screen, guys, but go follow Sheldon at Sheldum on Twitter so you guys get the heads up on that. I'm sure we'll retweet it, but Taskmaster, if you're not watching it, you should go check it out. It's really very fun. And I want to shout out the play-by-post DMs over at Post Show Recaps. It's Pia in the chat, our man here, and our friend Micah, who is running their first game as a DM ever. They only have like first started playing D&D in March, and like here they are with backup running their first play-by-post hand in hand with Pia in the chat. Those guys have been like thinking about it for quite a while. They've put a lot of thought into it. I know, like I was talking with Micah for quite a while about things they were interested in exploring, and I'm really glad to hear that everybody's having so much fun with that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's very spooky, but it's very ethereal. I'm liking it a lot.
Yeah, cave hair. Go for it.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
Zed, what about you? Where can people find you?
All my stuff's on vacation because Josh went on vacation. So
Wah, how
you
dare
won't hear from
Josh.
me for 2 weeks.
Monster.
Yeah.
That son of
I do 2 podcasts a week with Josh Bigler, and they are both not happening next week because he's on vacation. So
Well, but speaking of great DMs,
Speaking of great DMs, Zed DM'd their first time ever as a dungeon master, having just encountered Dungeons & Dragons for their first time this January. And they ran a game at the Post Show Recaps Discord for me and Taylor and other
finally
people
got to
who were
play
playing
as
with us.
players.
But Taylor and I are playing 2 characters in this campaign that are very delightful echoes of one another. And there's like, it was like amongst my all-time like favorite experiences as a player in the Discord since we started, was like the scene just us like talking about your swords.
Yes.
So very well done.
Swords. Yeah.
The whole adventure was fantastic, Zed. You quietly took us to another plane and had us fight nightmarish, horrific monsters that counterspelled me. How dare they? How dare they?
So good.
It was a really good time. It was a really great adventure. I can't wait to see you like running one again. We did a play-by-post adventure together a couple of weeks ago, and that really was your first time. But this was your first ever live session, and it was really good. You did a great job. So thank you for that.
Thanks.
For anybody out there who doesn't know, we all hang out at post-show recaps. You should go follow them. You can play D&D with all of us. It's a really great community. There's really great podcasts. There are people. I do a podcast there weekly, semi-weekly, Dungeons and Dragons in Discord. It's fun. Go hang out. We'll be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern with Firelight Tales, The Titans airs. Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific with Dragonfly. It's been a couple of weeks since we put out any new stuff here at DM Philly, but we got some really cool stuff coming up for August, so keep your ears peeled for that. And with that, I just would say thank you to all my friends for coming and playing games with me tonight, and thank you for everyone hanging out in the chat watching us. That's it. Okay. Bye.
Bye.